All right, what's up, Stokers of Stoke Nation? This is Chad Kroger coming in with the Going Deep with Chad and JT podcast. Guys, before we begin, I want to remind you once again that we are brought to you by Manscaped. Manscaped, thank you so much for keeping our trims pubed, for looking after our hogs, for making sure that the groinal region is well trimmed and well maintained. And it's the holiday season, guys, and you know what? There's no better gift than the gift of the Lawnmower 2.0 with our dogs at Manscaped. Use code GODEEP20 at manscaped.com for 10% off. Get that perfect package 2.0. And I'm here with my compadre, Jean Thomas. What up?
What up, Stokers? Boom clap. Recently, Manscaped as well.
Oh, you just did?
Not long ago, a couple days ago.
All right. And Strider, the ripper of relationships.
Oh, dude, appreciate that title, dude. Just dropping it like that, dude. Yeah, dude. Definitely always keep a nice trim, dude, you know. Just, you know, in the holiday season, too. Just imagine it's like a nice holly, ivy, mistletoe. Just treat it right. Make it look good and plush, dude.
Yeah. Leave the ugly sweater for the top.
Yeah, dude. You don't want it being too much like a jungle, dude, which is a nice little, dude, for the Stokers. Just dropping a little foreshadowing of what we're going to be talking about today, dude.
Wow.
Foreshadowing, dude. Literary device, dude.
And we are here with our guest, Bill Benenson, director, producer. Any other titles? Activist, would you say?
I wouldn't mind that. Yeah,
I would go as far as to say,
that's a good way to describe it,
dude,
too.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind that. Yeah, that's why.
An adventurer, dude.
Adventure, yeah, for sure.
Dude.
World traveler.
Yeah.
Dude, adventurer. That's the best title you can
get.
get.
That's what the show started with.
Benenson, adventurer, dude.
That's right.
We've been you know, sending some emails with Bill, one of Bill's team members, Allie. And she's here. What up, Allie? Dude, just posting up on the couch, dude. You can't see this out of frame right now, dude, but there's a couch over there. It's dank, dude. And Bill's like in Egypt. Dude, that's an amazing thing to say. Like, dude, if I'm not emailing someone back, it's because, like, I'm driving. And honestly, dude, don't tell my GF, but I'm probably sending that email while I'm driving, dude, and I shouldn't be.
Dude, I had a friend whose cousin lived in Egypt, or was from Egypt and lived there. And we were just hanging out at a bar one night, having like a regular Saturday night in Newport Beach. And then he goes, dude, my brother killed someone in the revolution.
Wow.
Yeah. And his brother was like a club-going guy. Like, he just wanted to, like, he'd been bothering me the whole night being like, yo, let's go dancing. Let's go listen to some DJs. And I was like, all right, cool.
Dude,
so I didn't figure him to be that kind of guy.
Dude, every time I'm out on the dance floor, I'm dancing, and I'm like, are there any murderers out here? You know, I'm just hitting it up on the D floor, dude. It's like, are there any murderers? Yeah. What's everyone's backstory, dude?
You've traveled, Bill.
I have.
Out of every 100 people, how many of them are a murderer?
It's hard to tell. They don't have an exact look. You know, I'm searching for that look, but I haven't found it.
It would be handy to know. And
dude,
where
that was
Bill,
a good answer.
We'll get into it, but where Bill was in Honduras, and this dank book that I read, Lost City of the Monkey God, and more importantly, this dank doc that we just watched, which Bill produced and directed, also entitled The Lost City of the Monkey God. The city they were in Honduras for a little bit, where they staged to then go into the freaking straight up jungle, dude. The going rate, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, for a hit in like that village the town was, where they were staging, where they were like supposedly more comfortable than when they went to the jungle, was $25 US. So if I was like, dude, Chad, freaking JT pissed me off recently, dude. His fantasy team just freaking crushed mine, dude. I want him dead, dude. 25 bones. Done.
That's how much it costs to...
That's what it was reported in the city. It's called Catacamas. The writer of the book, The Lost City of the Monkey God, Douglas Preston, was talking to a business guy.
Yeah.
And he said, would it cost to off someone? And he said $25 US. You know?
Wow.
Oh my God.
That's my electricity bill.
Oh, that's your e-bill.
Yeah.
What could that change for someone in Honduras if they got that much money?
What would it change? Well, I think probably what would happen is generally there's some kind of feud. You know, people get angry about their sister was looked at the wrong way or, you know, worse. And it's not really that you cross paths with someone and say he stepped in front of me. I think it goes into a deeper antagonism or humility or, you know, something that has brought a family or personal anger to a point where you just don't want to live with that burning inside of you.
Wow.
I get it. My sister, she has a proclivity for jacked dudes. She likes jacked dudes. I'd probably have to take out a hit if, you know, they did something wrong or anything like that.
Oh, so you think a lot of it
mean?
is it comes from people wronging a family and then them making it right. It's a lot of like blood feuds and stuff like that.
Well, I'll tell you a story about what happened to me in Brazil.
Epic.
When I was in the Peace Corps, I had my American girlfriend came down after I'd actually finished my Peace Corps 2 years, and actually they fired me, but I stayed on.
Nice.
And my girlfriend came down, and we went up one state north of where I was, the state of Bahia. We went up to Pernambuco. And at a lunch table, I leaned over and I kissed my girlfriend on the cheek. And then the next day, we were leaving, Mary and I were leaving, and I was looking for the man whose house we'd been staying in. We'd had lunch with this man, João Manso, and his daughter, and I wanted to say goodbye, and I didn't see him, and I got on the bus, and we left. And then several years later, my friend, the Peace Corps volunteer who I had visited out in the interior, said to me, "You remember the time, that João Manso wanted to kill you?" And I said, "Wanted to kill me?" No, I don't know. I didn't know he wanted to kill me. What are you talking about? He said, "Well, you kissed Mary at the table, and you weren't married." And he got out his old gun, and he was looking to shoot you when apparently you were looking to say goodbye to him.
Wow.
Oh, my gosh.
So this is the type of thing that can and does exist in Latin America or South America.
Yeah, my mom's Colombian, and they don't let even like my Aunt Esther, who's in her 70s, she's not allowed to stay in the same room, but she kind of chooses it.
Yeah.
It's up to her, but she doesn't stay in the room of someone she's not married to.
Yeah.
Like, and they've been dating for 30 years, but they're just not married, her and the guy. And they're in their 70s, so it's like, it's probably, they've probably
They have some
done everything.
pretty firm lines that they don't want crossed.
Wow.
And, you know, this isn't Afghanistan. This is closer to home.
Yeah.
But they, you know, so I don't know why maybe someone screwed you in a business deal or something, but they have very strong sentiments that they sometimes like to relieve in a way that we don't generally act on.
Right. Well, but where does the $25 come from?
You know, I think it's relative to what the people make there. I think the $25 would be a lot for someone out there.
Right. Exchange rate.
Yeah, and so it's not like there's a price tag, you know, Walmart, $25 for a hit. I think that's just what he was told the going rate is, that some businessman said, well, you want to have a hit, then that's what I'm told the rate is.
Wow.
Wow. Do you think maybe with these, like, kind of, maybe they're not laws or anything like that, but cultural customs of, like, you know, if you kiss a lady in public or something like that, do you think, and JT is a phenomenal dancer, and that there's outlets, like, that's why there's, like, better dancing. Like, I don't know, like, I'm just saying, like, people can move. They have a better outlet on the D floor. Is there any correlation there, I wonder?
With dancing?
Like, yeah, it's like, okay.
Oh, like
I'm
they don't
so
have enough
strict.
outlets?
Yeah, because, like, okay, you can't even hold hands in public or smooch your girlfriend on your freaking GF on the cheek. That would be rough. But then it's like, I guess it's just a boundary thing. It's your relationship to what's going on. It's like, okay, but on the dance floor, can you get down? I wonder what happens then.
Are you asking if they dance in Honduras?
No, I'm asking if, like, yeah. If they,
Do they get down on the dance floor?
Yeah, just basically doing the math, my A to Z is like, JT's got Colombian roots. You kind of have some ties with, like, all right, you're not allowed, like, your mom's friend wouldn't sleep in the same house. And you can dance. And, you know, I've been at New Year's parties. I dance with your mom. She's a great dancer, too. And do you think it's just, like, the boundaries, cultural boundaries that we have are different, and our relationships are different things? Like, me, as being, like, you know, kind of a corny dude, like, I don't move too well. I move okay.
Dude, you crush.
You're a good dancer.
Dude, thank you.
Passion
Can you
comes
dance
through.
with my mother?
Thank you, dude. I was being humble. Dude,
You dance with my mother?
it was New Year's, dude. She asked me to dance. What am I going to do? Not dance with your mother?
I'm just saying, you throw that out there very casual to a big audience about how you dance
She's
with
a
my
wonderful
mother.
lady. I kept my distance. Room for the Holy
All
Ghost
right,
right in the
well,
middle.
we're in the
Holy
clear.
Ghost is in
All
the
right.
middle.
You know what? I don't know why I got so reactionary. I'm sorry, my friend.
sorry. I'm sorry.
I wish our
No
culture.
apologies. We love it.
I wish our culture embraced that a little bit more. Like, let it out on the dance floor.
Let it out on the dance floor,
If you're
dude.
like a kid and you're upset, you're frustrated. They're like, instead of time out, they're like, why don't you go to the garage and dance?
Thank you.
Dude, the amount of issues
Thank you.
I've processed on the floor, high speed,
Yeah.
most of them.
Dude,
Everyone's taking a different backstory to the dance floor. Murderers are out there. Dudes who can't smooch their girlfriend on the cheek are out there and just trying to catch a little bit of rhythm. I'm out there just trying to see what's up, explore, you know?
You're like, where's Chad? I heard he stole double bubble from 7-Eleven. He's moonwalking in the garage
Yes.
for punishment.
Yeah.
That's a better and more active and constructive form of punishment, dude.
Mhm.
At our high school, dude, when they enacted detention, this is a Catholic high school, we got a brand new principal, and he was like, you can't do homework during detention. So it just literally had to be straight up punishment, sitting there with your thoughts.
Dude, it was brutal.
And I'm like, dude, just because students in there were trying to do a good job and were getting homework done during that, and he canceled that just to focus on punishment.
But dude, what if I would have done because I meditate now? If I would have meditated then, it would have changed the whole perspective on the 45-minute detention.
If you would have meditated and gyrated your hips,
Yeah. Oh, if I was dancing too, if they let me dance in detention, I'd be in trouble all the time.
Yeah, in trouble with the
sorry,
ladies.
I forgot to tuck
trouble with
in
the
my
ladies.
shirt today
yeah.
because I want to dance.
So, Bill, we dove into your doc.
Okay.
I did last night. I'm not sure when you.
I did a few nights ago. My
Yeah.
GF, we went and got our Christmas tree, which was dank, and then she went to bed early. It was, we haven't decorated it yet, but then when she went to bed early, I stayed up and enjoyed the doc.
Great.
Yeah, and so I thought maybe we could dive into a little bit of what it's about. Sort of,
Sure.
it's called The Lost City of the Monkey God,
Right.
and just let you take it away. Yeah, so
Do we have
Take
any?
it away.
Are we allowed
Yeah.
to say? I want to ask.
Yeah.
Because there's like a big mystery with this lost city, La Ciudad Blanca, the city of
Right.
the monkey god, like it's the cursed city, and you're searching for this city.
Right.
Do you want us to tell now, because this is the most popular podcast in SoCal? What up, my
Legit.
dogs?
Legit.
Yeah.
To do spoilers. Do we want you? Do we?
No,
Do you
we
want
can
us
go
to tell
for
you?
it.
We can go for it. Okay. So, yeah. I mean, like, there's this legend. I guess the main text is like Hernan Cortez's text from like the friggin' 1500s.
1526.
1526. Boom. And this is what everyone's referencing, and they're like, "There's this amazing city." People are, haters are like, "It's El Dorado," and there's a lot of haters in this story. And I want to get into, which perhaps I think in a little bit, the schmoll of the trip, but also an integral guy because he was kind of the lead archaeologist. What was his name? Alex?
I forget.
Yeah, Alex, right?
The lead archaeologist?
Yeah, it was
Chris Fisher.
Chris Fisher.
Right.
I mean, he's a smart dude, and he respects the process, but there's a big debate in the film when you guys do it. I'm just going to go ahead and say it.
Yeah.
Through a huge, long process of lidar imaging and using these insane planes and insane technology, which I want to say, at least my opinion going in, I'll get yours, the archaeological community outside just feel like a bunch of haters. Like, they just were sad that they didn't get there first, and they're like,
little jealous.
"Oh, you didn't respect the like, you didn't just go find it."
Right.
Where you were, nobody could find it for 500 years
Right.
if you didn't use that technology.
Dude,
Right.
even smart people can be petty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's ego getting in the way. Do you want to touch on that a little bit?
Yeah,
Andy?
sure. I mean, we use this new scanning technology. At least it was new when we used it in 2010, and it's called LiDAR.
LiDAR. Yeah, LiDAR.
And what it is a laser form of scanning from a small plane, in aerial LiDAR. And we had a scanner that put out 120,000 pulses of laser light per second.
Amazing. That's just straight up so everyone knows, that's fucking lasers in the jungle, dude. What up?
Well, we were up above the jungle at about 1,800 feet.
That's not that high.
Well, it isn't. I mean, what you want to do is you go in a lawnmower type pattern. You go, straight across, and then you come back, and then at the end of covering like 5 miles in one direction, you turn and you go perpendicular to that, like across a chessboard, and you go back and forth. and in 6 hours you can scan about 25 square miles, 5 miles on each side area, and that's billions of laser pulses. And what happens is the beams will be able to go through the leaves in the tree when the wind is blowing, and provided there's enough gap between microscopic gap between the leaves that the pulse can go down and hit the ground and bounce back. And so what you get is a contour of the laser pulses, which are converted into digital points in the plane scanner. It's called the point cloud. And that can reveal structures under the tree canopy. It also will show you the trunks of the trees and the branches. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And you can make a 3D model out of this structure. And so what we found was, after, as you just said, 500 years or so, people looking for this legendary lost city, because Cortez said to the king of Spain, who was also the emperor of Europe, said, the city will be much greater in riches than all of Mexico. So people have been looking for a lost city out in the Mesquite jungle. And no one had found a lost city. What we found was what I would prefer to call, also because we got such shit from the academic community, is I would have called it a temple complex.
Yeah.
But they call it a city because you can't have a temple complex without all the people around who are going to build it. So they say if you have a temple complex, you got to have a city. They impugned that we said we'd found the lost city that Cortez had referenced. We had no way of knowing if that was indeed the lost city. We do know that no other major temple site or city has been found out in the Mesquite jungle other than what we found.
Correct. And like all myth or legend, there's something based in some sort of form of reality. Machu Picchu was found. They still debate what the purpose of that is. They don't know if it's a religious center. They don't know. And if you find a religious center, that's a huge sign of culture. How do we think of Egypt? Literally to this day, I have my 6th grade image. I'm like, oh, well, they're gods in the pyramids. Like, it's a huge sign of culture out there. And yet, and it's big that you guys found that, because it's a huge distinction between the religions of the Mayas or the Aztecs. I mean, there's, of course, architectural customs and everything that differentiate things based on what they're building and everything. But, like, the fact that you found that was able to tell the archaeologists this is not a Maya civilization. So, though you can't distinctly prove, it is this lost city of the monkey god, which, by the way, is a way danker title than, forgotten sounds sick, but like maybe like misplaced temple complex. Like, I'm not going to pick up that book, Doug Preston. I don't know if I'm going to watch that doc, Bill. But like Lost City, I mean, look, there's marketability to these things too, which you have to play on.
Well, but so if a city has, or if a lost civilization has a religious center, it's probably a pretty big city.
It's big. I think the main signs of like, and honestly, the archaeological community and like historians and stuff now don't like the term civilization. It's preferred to say culture. There's different things that are on this, and I think you guys did a good job of respecting the Honduras people too in this. You were involving a Honduran map maker and everything, and it was great, and the president got involved because it's the identity of this country, so it's huge. But like I think it's like trade. There's advanced trade. There's like internal production. There's classes. There's a wealth system. There's the haves and have-nots. Religion is huge too, and then I think architecture and buildings and stuff are like the kind of 5 pillars. You probably know more than.
Well, no, I think that's as a layman, which I am, in some ways I'm a professional filmmaker, but that would fit. What we know is that all the archaeologists who will deal with us and talk to us, because we did play in their sandbox, and they were angry that we, were not in the beginning bringing in the established members of the archaeological community who we should have been paying abeyance to come with us. And of course, in the beginning, when we did the flyover in May of 2012, we didn't actually need an archaeologist, as we said in the film, because we weren't going on the ground. We were doing aerial archaeology using this new technology, which had never before been used in a purely speculative way, that is, to try to find something that no one knew was out there. LiDAR had been used in Cambodia at Angkor Wat and also in Belize at a site called Caracol. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Yeah, I think that's in the doc. I remember that, yeah.
So it had been used in areas that they knew had temple ruins, and then they found, for example, in Belize, that the site was probably 4 or 5 times larger than they knew. There were structures outside of the center core that they couldn't find in the jungle without the scans revealing it. And we rolled the dice with my partner, Steve Elkins, that the possibility existed, and he spent maybe 20 years trying to figure out where the site would be. And he narrowed it down. And in fact, we demarcated the sites we would search in the plane as target area 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We actually only scanned really target area 1 and 3. But T1 was where Steve thought this makes the most sense, that if I were to build a city, I would look for a place with mountains around it, with a narrow river gap where you could defend that people couldn't get in because there'd be a very narrow river gap. You'd have a high mountain behind you. And in this target area 1, he found the confluence of those elements and said, I think I would build a city here. And that's where we found the temple complex, the city that we discovered.
Yeah, and Steve's a great adventurer. He's like kind of the main guy you focus on in the doc, and he, like you were saying, it's a 20-year sort of ordeal. He goes there in the 90s. Then there's Hurricane Mitch, which is like one of the most devastating hurricanes maybe recorded. Like it literally ruined a country.
Right.
So you weren't able to go back. They had to prolong the process of going back there, reestablish infrastructure, and also Honduras' political climate and everything. And so it's great that you did that. And also, you say you rolled the dice with this litter imaging. Sounds like this godsend too, and the archaeological community is like kind of hating on that. Maybe you used it, but also like,
why do they hate on using it?
But it was also used in the Yucatan Peninsula in the Maya ruins, which like saved these 2 archaeologists, I forget their names, it saved them tons of time. But I feel like they want it, and maybe this is just me speaking, but like maybe to kiss the ring a little bit, like get us involved here. Like we're the people. But you did have
They're
Jason
not capable of doing that. They can only do like with their actual hands.
Well, it's kind of innovative.
Stuff.
Bill was the first one to kind of do it with this. I feel like.
What happened was at Caracol, the couple called the Chases somehow got a grant.
Yeah.
Probably it was a university grant or some form, and they were able to do the scan. That money was used in a very productive way, and yet other archaeologists, like in Honduras, didn't have the money to do a scan. And we went in as non-academics, as we're called filmmakers, and we did a scan that revealed something that they thought, I believe, they wanted to have been able to find with a spoon and a trowel or something, the old way of looking at archaeology from the ground, digging in the ground, and
so they think you're like
up.
Cheating by using a plane?
Well, cheating, or that it was unfair that we had the money to do it. I think there was a fair amount of like, why did these guys get to do it when we reserved the right to do it our old-fashioned way? And if we're not going to do it our old-fashioned way, someone's got to give us the money to do it the new way, and we didn't have the money, so these guys cheated.
That's what, but it's also a huge, sorry to cut you up, but like, they can feel that way. But it's good that you found this. It's no matter what, it's whatever the result is. It's amazing you found it. but also kind of like Doug says too, and you say too, it's kind of like a bittersweet thing because you've gone in there. It's kind of nice to have that mythical thing.
Right.
But you guys were respectful in there. But like you weren't sure that litter imaging would work because that jungle is literally like some of the densest in the world. Like you don't know if those lasers are even going to shoot through the canopies in there. It's like you could have spent all that money and just bounced back trees and been like,
that's
all
it.
right,
Yeah.
great.
And then what do you do then? If you get nothing.
Well, all right. So I took a gamble, clearly, as we all did, that the LiDAR scan would show something up. But it was a really long shot because what we were looking for was a rumor or a myth. You know, it was like no one said, I know there's a city out there, we just haven't found it. What they said is, a city's been reported out there. A temple site's been reported out there. But it was not El Dorado, but Cortez said the streets are paved with gold and, you know, stuff like that. Well, after he said that, people tried to go in and find it. And a lot of people died, and no one found anything. We would not have found anything without the LiDAR technology, because when you're there, even the pyramid looks like a giant mound of dirt, of earth. Just it's a very steep angle, but it's no different than some of the other places in the mountains or the hills behind our site.
Right, when you look at it in the doc, it does. He's like, the pyramid's right there, and it just looks like jungle. And you're kind of just like, the guy's kind of like, I can kind of see it, but you know, you gotta dig deep. Yeah,
you would not know. And so one of the ways that we determined this was a city or a temple complex is that they were rectilinear shapes. In other words, there were plazas that were flat in the middle with mounds around the side that were rectangles, the way they had ball courts. So one was a large plaza, then they had two big mounds that were probably 200 feet long, and they were parallel. They were across. Two of them were across from each other with a gap of maybe 40 feet or something, which was the way Mayan ball courts were laid out. And behind it was another plaza and then structures around it. So we were able to see these mounds, which when we saw it, we realized this is man-made. There was no question. But then we went in 2015 in February to prove that. But it was either human mounds that were made and degraded over the years from the rains and the hurricanes, or these were the world's smartest gophers who had made extraordinary mounds.
Yeah, right angles don't occur in nature.
No,
I mean, there's a
not
chance,
that way.
but, yeah, that's pretty wild. How was it, to switch gears a little bit, just being out in that jungle? Because you were there, and you were there during the debate too, when you found this cache of religious and items that when you guys stumbled upon that, which was an amazing moment in the doc.
Right.
But just the living conditions. Did you spend the night there?
Yeah, I was out for several nights. It was terrible.
Yeah, how's that? I need my creature comforts. I'm a glamper. I used to want to be a Marine, dude.
Yeah.
Then I went camping. I'm like, nah, dude. That's like camping with people trying to shoot you, dude.
Oh.
Yeah.
No way I can do it. Wish I could, dude.
It was bad. I can tell you about it.
Yeah.
That snake you guys caught the first night?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What's that snake? What is that?
Fer de lance.
Fer de lance.
Yeah.
Like it spits venom at you, dude.
Well, the fangs were like an inch long, or even
Yeah,
what was
they were
that?
longer. Yeah.
Like longer.
Did you guys hold on to it, or what'd you do with it?
We kept the snake. I don't know who took it, but it was skinned. Someone took the skin.
Oh wow.
And there was a Honduran military out there, like kind of guarding them, because there are drug cartels and stuff out in the jungle too, and you don't know what's going to go on, and so it's pretty gnarly.
Yeah,
What would you do if you
worry. The big worry when you found it too was that if you guys left the site, it would get looted by the cartel. Like if you sort of release this news,
Right.
So that was part of the huge
The
debate.
news, in effect, was released as soon as we went out on the ground and went up to the temple site, because as you were saying, we were guarded by the Honduran military, and they all had cell phone cameras and were taking pictures, and we took pictures, and that's all GPS data. You know, the GPS locator is within a foot or something of where you are. So as soon as we went out there, the site was known. And I felt very strongly that if what happened was our cameraman virtually stumbled across one of the stone ceremonial heads of what we call a were jaguar, which is kind of an anthropomorphic, a head of a jaguar that looks human, or like a monkey. It was hard to tell, except that the ears were on top and not, simian, I guess. Anyway, we stumbled across 52 carved stone ceremonial bowls, metates, which are for grinding, mostly for grinding corn with grinders, except it turns out this was probably not for corn. They were grinders for chocolate, for cacao.
Oh, yes.
So,
Yeah, I remember that in the book. I just got fired up on remembering that fact.
Cacao, baby.
Oh, yeah. And I love chocolate, dude.
Yeah.
Holiday time, you know what I'm saying?
So
Hershey.
what happened was these were sticking out of the ground for, my guess is, a minimum of 400 or 500 years.
Wow.
So I don't know how they could have been sticking, because as you were saying, the jungle was 50 meters, 150 feet high above the ground, and the fact that these hadn't had overgrowth on them too, it was incomprehensible that those were sticking out. But those pieces are valuable. Some of them were 2 or 3 feet long and 1.5 feet, 2 feet deep, and weighed hundreds of pounds. Those are valuable objects. Those could sell for $100,000 or more. I mean, particularly if it is what we believe a new culture, a Mayan offshoot, but an unknown new culture. This stuff had real value. And if we had left, which we were planning to do, and left the site unguarded, then inevitably the site would have been looted and these objects would have been lost. But they didn't. Our chief archaeologist, Chris Fisher, said you can't move it because you will ruin the context of the site, all the objects, and if it's gone, it's gone, which I didn't agree with, but that was part of the argument or the discussion we had at night in the tent, in the rain, because it was raining and there was mud and there were bugs of all kinds, and it was a really nasty location.
Yeah.
Yep. Speaking of the bugs, the little, what are they, sandflies, right?
Yeah.
I mean, can we dive into the leishmaniasis?
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
that's like Larapinesius.
Yeah. What does that do? It's like named after the doctor that founded it.
Yeah.
And this disease, which and because you were in such a unique region,
Right.
like these sandflies only carry that strain of lice. Like lice exists all over the world.
Right.
There's different strains of it. And this is a unique, and Douglas Preston does a good job of describing it in his book. It's like a unique hybrid disease where, like, when you just study it microscopically, dude, the disease bones inside your body. It's not like other diseases. Yeah.
Whoa.
So it and there's 3 iterations of it. There's like a skin one, like a
visceral, that inside, and so the possibility is you can die from perhaps any one of the brands, as it were. Like what we had, the people who contracted it, and thankfully, I'm going to knock on wood here, I didn't get it. But that's called cutaneous, which is on the skin. And like the writer of the book, Douglas Preston, got it and still has it, actually, 5 years later.
Jeez.
And then there's the visceral that gets inside and kills you. And then there's a third kind, mucosal, which is worse than the one that will kill you.
It's
Okay.
it's very disfiguring.
Well, what
really?
happens is your face is eaten away first. So you lose your nose, your lips, and your ears,
Yeah.
and then you die.
Yeah.
Everywhere mucosal mucus membranes.
Right,
your body,
yeah.
Your butt, it will get you. Yeah.
Oh,
it's bad.
dude.
It's bad.
It's really nasty. And so half of our team, we calculated that there were like 22 of us who spent the night out in the jungle. No one who went out just during the day, and we had plenty of people coming in and out by helicopter, seemed to have contracted it. But the people who stayed out in the jungle for 2 weeks or 10 days or a week or whatever, like in a time frame I was out there, under a week, but five days or so, it kind of blended in my mind. I haven't quite figured it out. It was pretty horrendous out there.
Yeah.
And we knew we were being bitten by these sandflies, but we didn't know that they were carrying any disease at all.
But it's kind of like this crazy, sort of metaphor of like, is the jungle inviting? We talked about this curse, and now with modern medicine, we can diagnose it as a disease. But years and years ago, hundreds of years ago, even 50 or whatever, you go to that jungle, then all of a sudden you're sick. Why? I mean, do you connect it to the bugs? I don't know. Is it because of a religious thing? The years and years you go back, it's probably the gods. It's all these. It's pretty. You can understand where the myth comes from.
Yeah, and
kind of cool.
There's a distinct possibility that somehow perhaps the leishmaniasis or leishmaniasis mutated at some point, and it drove the natives out there.
Right.
Or the other more likely possibility is that when Cortez and the Spaniards brought European Western diseases in, it decimated the native populations, as all over when we made contact with the native populations. In fact, I just saw a play in New York called the Slave Play, and they called whites virus carriers. We're viruses, because we brought these deadly diseases to the indigenous population.
The only reason the Europeans did, like, in close quarters when Columbus came back on other trips, like thousands of his crew died.
Right.
And he only brought like maybe 2,500 guys. Like, so it was still huge numbers in his crew.
Yeah.
And then they come over, and then it rips through the native populations because they haven't had generational exposure to build up immunities to those diseases. So when they come over, it's brand new. It just ignites, and it spreads like one of the worst horror movies, like that movie Outbreak with freaking what's his face?
Dustin Hoffman.
Hoffman, dude.
Whoa.
Yeah. And speaking of other movies now, to kind of definitely switch gears, you've produced a lot of films and some dank films.
Yeah. Thanks.
A film you produced, Pain and Gain.
I'm sorry?
Did you produce Pain and Gain, or did you wrote a treatment for Pain and Gain, and then Michael Bay got a hand of it?
No, I'll tell you, I don't know that reference. Maybe I'll have to find it.
Yeah.
Perhaps I did something I don't know.
Yeah.
It's possible. But I was involved with Beasts of No Nation.
A
Right,
great movie.
And this year, as an executive producer, which I was also on Beasts of No Nation, it's kind of astounding. I'm involved with both Harriet and Honey Boy.
Oh yeah, Honey Boy. We saw it together.
Yeah, just
powerful.
What were you doing on Honey Boy?
I was an executive producer, which in this case, I mean, I've gone from being a director, producer, executive producer. In relation to Honey Boy, I invested with the woman who is one of the three producers of it, and I've
nice.
worked with her for many years.
I enjoyed it. It was very powerful.
I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shot very, very well, and all the performances are
Visually,
amazing.
it was great.
Yeah.
I still have to catch it.
Therapeutic.
But I watched Shia LaBeouf's Hot Ones, and that got me fired up to see.
Yeah.
Dude, Hot Ones is killer. Dude.
He is so he's very charismatic on it and sort of endearing. And I was like, I gotta see.
What about Honey Boy?
It was really powerful. I mean, and also just having the context of knowing who Shia LaBeouf is now, and then seeing what his childhood was. I mean, it was impossible not to be affected by it because we have this existing relationship with him.
Right.
And it feels so pulled from like his diaries.
Well, it was. I mean, and he wrote the screenplay. And to me, what was astounding was he played his own insane father to the young boy who was he at the age of 12 or whatever.
That must have felt
it was.
very good for him.
Well, I would hope so.
Difficult, but also I think cathartic. Yeah.
And another astounding thing about the play is the director had never directed a feature before.
Yeah, she did documentaries, right?
Yeah, and music videos.
But we watched a clip from one of her documentaries, one in Hawaii about a family, and visually it was like stunning.
And earlier, I misspoke. I said Pain and Gain, which JT and I saw together, which is, to be honest, a great true story, but a pretty terrible movie, even though I love Michael Bay, I love The Rock, I love a lot of stuff he's putting out there, Transformers with Shia.
Wahlberg
But you were involved with another documentary that also has a lasting effect, Pumping Iron.
Yeah.
One of the dankest movies of all time.
Yeah.
I go to Gold's Gym. I go to Gold's Gym.
Okay.
Dude. What up?
Yeah. I can see it.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
That T-shirt's almost ripping.
Yeah, if this one, friggin' Clydesdale came through here, dude left a horseshoe on my arm.
Yeah, I was explaining to Allie, our link together here on the drive over, that I had a girlfriend, another girlfriend, who didn't try to get me killed. And she had a first cousin by the name of George Butler. George Butler was, at the time in 1973 approximately, a still photographer, and he'd done a book called Pumping Iron with Arnold, and it was also with a writer who was Arnold's friend by the name of Charles Gaines. And George did a short documentary, and I'd done 3 documentaries by then, after getting back from the Peace Corps. And George did a short documentary about these old grave diggers in New Hampshire. And they were really old, heavy-duty grave diggers, or, people who had a kind of limited life, but they were good at digging graves.
Hey, you got to have a skill. Use it.
Right. And George had made this film about them, and it was interesting, but after 20 minutes, you'd learned as much about them as you probably wanted. And George said, well, I'd like to make a documentary about Arnold Schwarzenegger, working out in a gym. And I said, George, I don't think that's interesting enough. Let me think about it. So I wrote out a story, an outline, and then I also directed the test film for it, which was based on Arnold competing in the World Mr. Universe contest that was coming up in South Africa. So I structured it as we would follow Arnold to the World Championship.
Yes.
And that is what Pumping Iron became.
Did you know Lou Ferrigno would be the antagonist the protagonist?
I knew that he was a friend of Arnold's and one of the top competitors.
But you knew you had to add that competitive structure with that climax to make it narratively compelling.
Right.
Yeah.
And George, shall we say, saw to it that I didn't get beyond writing the treatment and directing the test film.
Oh, so he was like, I love this idea. I'm just going to run with it now.
Yeah, you could say that.
Oh.
I did get a thing.
But you were the one but you cracked the code on it.
I think so. And at the time, I'd never directed a feature documentary, and I didn't think, well, if I don't direct it, I should get story by or something like that. I was totally naive, and, it's all right.
Well, and you guys must have both been shocked, though, at the, lasting impact that film has had. I mean, when I watched it in high school, it was like a seismic event. I was like, holy shit, this is the best thing I've ever seen. And I was quoting it for the next 6 months.
Well, Arnold, the thing that was clear from the very beginning, because I had met Arnold before I said I'm going to write the story, is that he's really charismatic and incredibly smart and charming. So I was not into bodybuilding then or now. I know you guys are. I can see it.
Thank you.
Yeah. But it didn't matter because Arnold was so extraordinary, and he stood out in a way from all the other bodybuilders. We did this test film at a bodybuilding contest in Lowell, Massachusetts, or something, and it wasn't one of the most striking events I've ever seen. But Arnold just, was so much smarter and funnier and cagey and knew what he was doing that it just. And it also, the men behind Gold's Gym, the
Joe Weider?
Yeah, the two brothers. They were out of Toronto. They were really smart because they had cornered the market on not just the bodybuilding contests, but the powders and the
Muscle and Fitness, the magazine was theirs, right?
Right, their magazines and everything. And they were really quite interesting. So I thought it would be interesting to go try to find out about how they profited from this world that I didn't really relate to, but it was clearly, a phenomena at the time.
Well, yeah, that's why some people think the Mr. Universe was rigged a little bit, where it had to go to Arnold, because the more that Arnold wins, the more it's good for the business of bodybuilding, right?
I think Arnold was perceived by the Weider brothers as the ticket to take bodybuilding out of the total back room and put it out into the front.
The UFC kind of experienced that with Conor McGregor, too, where it's like, okay, this person's on a different level of stardom than anyone we've had to up until this point.
Yeah.
We owe it to everyone to push this person, because it'll elevate everything.
Right. And it happens with skiing and skateboarding, that you get some people who just alter the course of sports or whatever, other breakout that they are involved with.
Was Arnold dropping lines like, the pump feels like I'm coming, like just nonstop? Or you're like, dude, you got to save that for the doc?
Bill, did you write that line in your treatment?
No.
Just before meeting Arnold, he needs to say this line.
No,
this goes
Arnold,
in there bold.
Arnold was pretty good at his own stuff.
No.
He's amazing. Yeah, because I feel like when I work out, I feel like I'm coming. Then I come home and I'm coming. I'm coming all the time.
That line is going to last.
This guy knows how to brag.
The millennia.
Yeah.
You could put Arnold in a grave digging dock and be like, I'm digging graves, I'm coming. I'm putting it in there, I'm coming. Every time.
Passion for your job is very exciting to watch.
It is.
Yeah.
What you always say a quote, maybe it's paraphrasing somewhere, you're like, put on screen someone who's good at what they do.
It's an Alfred Hitchcock quote. He says, if you want the audience to like your protagonist, make him good at his job.
Yeah.
But he should,
Well, this is a bit off track, but the way that Arnold became governor of California was...
My dad voting for him.
Your dad.
Mine too.
But
Mine as
your
well.
dad could have voted for him because...
We're all bones.
Listen, he didn't go through the primary process.
Right, so they couldn't beat him up.
Right. So he was a moderate Republican, and he didn't have to go through the meat grinder of the primary because it was a recall vote for Governor Gray Davis. So Arnold got in without going through the pumping that he would have had to.
He didn't have to go through the beatdown of getting beat up by your fellow party members.
Right.
Pointing out any of his flaws.
Well, and then also and then if you watch the Enron documentary by one of the best documentarians ever, I think Alex Gibney. I mean, they make Arnold Schwarzenegger kind of culpable in what got Gray Davis recalled, because they said he was part of the energy manipulation that was going on by Enron and different companies to create blackouts.
I don't
in
know
California.
that Arnold did that. I mean, he very well could have been an investor in.
Yeah. Do you think the doc was kind of like they were trying to add some extra?
No,
to
I don't
it?
know. It was a really good doc.
It's great.
Yeah.
Soundtrack's good.
Yeah, it's all great, but I think, from what I remember, Gray Davis had a lot more to do with allowing that Enron deal to go through than Arnold.
Whoa.
But I don't really remember. But
how important do you think objectivity is in a documentary?
Well, if you set a documentary to be seen as objective, then it's important, when you do a documentary like we just did with The Lost City of the Monkey God, we want it to be objective. But I was in it, also. And so I've always tried to get my facts right and be at least as, if not objective, at least as intelligent and accurate in storytelling as I can be. Objective is it's funny. I think one of the things I did wrong in making documentaries, and if I had it to do over again, kind of like what I did this summer to go back down to film about making my film 50 years ago, I would have always wanted to have taken footage of myself and my girlfriends and crew at whatever film we were making. Because I think sometimes if you make a film, you're looking down through the lens, looking out at what you're covering, but sometimes the lens should be turned around and you should be looking at yourself and what you're doing. Because even just for your own edification or just to see how you have evolved, I think I would do that over again if I were starting to make films. I mean, I have photographs of me making my film in 1970 out in the interior of Bahia. But, and so when we make our documentary about our making of, the revisit now, I'll have to use old photographs of myself because I don't have any footage. So I think objectivity is related to what intention you have and the goal that you're having for whatever you want to make, if that makes sense.
No, it totally makes sense. But that's interesting that you would have put yourself more in the documentary.
No, I wouldn't have been in the documentaries. I would have been like behind the scenes.
Right.
I didn't shoot behind the scenes.
But you would have reflected more what the process of making the documentary felt like.
Yeah, I think I would have.
Because it would have contextualized better what your findings were, because then the audience would be reminded that it was through someone's point of view.
Well, I wouldn't have wanted to put myself in the film. I just think for reference of trying to learn more, if I were to be able to see myself having shot this documentary in 1970, interacting with the people who were on the crew, I think it would be interesting just to see, like we were talking about, you don't know how things are going to evolve. There's a lot of chance in things. And sometimes it's what I call invisible inevitability, where things happen, and it would just be nice to have some reference to see yourself, like you guys are recording yourself now, and you're on, it's on the camera. And it can be interesting someday to look at it and say, damn, holy shit, I was on the wrong track there, or I was totally right, or whatever.
Yep.
I just think it's good to keep yourself in the picture.
Totally.
Because you're always part of it, whether you're in front of the camera or behind it, or in the microphone or whatever.
I listened to our early episodes like a month ago. It is good to reflect because you're sort of able to see your errors at that time and then see where you went right as well. And so I feel like you're to be sort of really presently aware of like how much you evolve, and you got to stay on track.
Last night my wife and I, Lori, watched the third episode of this season's The Crown. And that was quite astounding because it was really about Prince Charles's mother, who he was totally embarrassed about and wanted to keep her out of the picture. And she became the most important person that the English public seemed to have related to. And so everything that he was trying to do to make the English public feel more empathy or involvement with their lives, he did wrong. They had a documentary about the Queen and the family. They were all sitting around like wooden soldiers, and the public,
So he just was a tight ass?
Yeah, and he wanted to have this very controlled documentary the BBC made about them. And they came across as very privileged and overpaid, and the public went, really against them. And then he tried...
You fucked up, Charles.
I'm sorry. It was...
Did I say the wrong guy?
No, it's Philip, not Charles.
Oh, sorry, Charles.
No. But there's probably a Charles out there that fucked up once, dude. And you got to keep that in check, dude.
Anyway, Prince Philip was very uptight, and what he tried to do to get the public to understand what an incredible job they were doing for England, it didn't work until his mother, who he thought was insane, was interviewed by a newspaper reporter who said she was the greatest thing that ever happened. And it was a complete turnaround, and it was really interesting to see how these efforts to present yourself in the right way can blow up.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, and often do. When
And-
you're trying to look so good, like holding yourself to that high standard of like, dude, just, honesty is the best policy. Audiences
Yeah.
are very perceptive.
They see everything.
It's just you can't hide it. You just got to be you, dude.
I
You
know, but
what
it's
I mean?
tough, dude.
It's hard because you got to be vulnerable, but you got to
No,
have
but
that
you guys are
vulnerability.
so buff. It's you come.
Thank you,
Dude,
thank you.
thank
We
you.
have
I
armor.
do think if you
I have
look
armor.
good, you feel good.
I freaking potassium up every single day, just housing bananas and whey
Yeah.
protein, and I just
Right.
feel good.
Dude,
Yeah.
you're rocking those emergencies as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've been crushing those, dude.
And it's
Staying up with
interesting,
my
too.
VC.
All three of us have our own specific and unique workout plan.
Yeah.
Like you do sprints, you do body pump.
Yep.
I just
I do
had-
Pilates.
Yeah.
We all do a different thing.
I just add steam room to the mix.
Whoa.
Ooh, sweat it
Straight
out.
detoxing.
Bill, are you doing anything, exercise routine or mixing things up? I mean, what are you getting into these days?
My wife and I like to go, and I sometimes alone, to hiking in the Santa
Love
Monica
that.
Mountains.
Nice, beautiful.
We have a trainer 2 or 3 times a week, and my wife does yoga 2 or 3 times a week. So
Nice.
Dude, don't underestimate yoga.
It's
I-
great.
I never do, bro.
I usually do yoga at home with Adrian. I first time went to the studio with my GF, dude. Dank. Went
Did
to
you do
yoga
hot?
vibe. No,
Or
I
just
didn't do
regular
hot. I
temp?
couldn't handle hot. I couldn't handle it.
Work your
Because-
way up.
Exactly. I, honestly,
build up to
I was
it,
thinking
though.
about the whole
It's
dude. I was sweating instantly. Had to use the block. But dude, it's a nice supportive environment. And dude, holding those poses, very
Dude,
difficult.
it's hard, bro.
Balance, strength, flexibility, balance.
What's
dude.
the smile you do after you fail? Because I do a good smile after I fail.
Oh, dude, I
I
literally
look around at everyone and go,
Yeah, I look at it. Mine is also involving everybody because I'm thinking of the judgment. Even though everyone there is doing their own film, there's like,
that's good.
yeah.
that's what I do.
It's mental gymnastics too.
It is,
'Cause I'm
dude.
like, if I can hold this pose, I know I can. What's something else hard that I had to do? I know that I can call my dad after this.
Yeah,
Nice,
What's
dude.
up, dude? You got to stay in touch with the rents, dude. You know,
Of course, weekly at least.
dude. Should we?
Sometimes
Wait,
I'll freeze them out.
I got one question.
Oh, dude, yeah,
with
dude.
with lidar,
Yeah.
do you think can you apply it to the ocean?
No.
Oh man, because that's
I know.
that's the
'cause
great
you could go
unknown.
down. That's space down there.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know, but the problem is that LiDAR is this. It's now up to like 1 million laser pulses a second or more.
Yeah.
LiDAR doesn't work, for example, if it's raining or if there's smoke or even clouds, because the laser pulses will be refracted by the water molecules. So it's
Wow.
basically just screws it up. So apparently you can use LiDAR underwater, but in a very shallow,
Okay.
it has a very limited range.
Yeah.
Now sonar, which is the sound waves are amplified by the water, is a kind of form of laser scanning, but underwater, and it is very powerful and very accurate. So it already exists. It has for a long time. But the laser forms that I know of don't work underwater.
Okay.
Yeah, subs and stuff are using sonar, bouncing things around.
Right.
With
Yeah.
that shit,
Subs.
dude.
It's cool stuff.
It's tight. What do you think?
Okay.
What do you think's the key to a long marriage?
A lot of luck. And so I had this theory I thought I'd share, which is, there's some problems with the theory, but okay, I would outlaw all first marriages. Okay? Now, there's some problems with that, but,
Aaron, what up, dude?
Oh, Aaron.
I don't know. I had a first marriage. It didn't work, and my wife did too. So I really don't know. I think for myself, I got very lucky.
George Will said like second marriages are like proof of like optimism over experience or something like that.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Well, there are a lot of countries now, the Scandinavian ones, as I understand, where marriage is like really not terribly interesting to anyone there.
Oh, they're not doing it?
Nope.
What are they doing? Really?
They're living together, having kids.
Are they staying F buddies forever?
I don't know. I just know that I know when we were in Brazil this summer, there seemed to be an awful lot of a lot of fluidity in marriage there. And there is here too. I think marriage had a lot of social relevance a while ago. It still does if you take it seriously, and I'm very happily married, and the institution is fine with me, more than fine. But, if everyone has some economic independence and they're not being forced by their parents into doing something that they might not want to do at the time or, under the circumstances, living together is a pretty good way to see if things are going to work out or try. I find marriage to be highly mysterious.
But I feel like people who have unconventional marriages are almost compelled not to talk about it because, like, Thomas Middleditch, this actor, came out and did a Playboy interview, and he's like, "Yeah, me and my wife are in an open relationship." And he's like, I had to bring it up to her after 3 years. I was like, babe, like, I just need more. And then he was like, she's the brake, I'm the gas.
Yeah.
And, like, everyone kind of trashed him for it. I think it was because he didn't check with his wife beforehand. So he kind of just, like...
We're doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
welcome
came
home.
off like, he's just like, babe, we're doing this. And she's like, what? All right.
Yeah, it didn't sound like she was, like, too enthused about it. So it, like, it read really... selfishly.
Yeah. Well, my wife and I just saw a play in New York, Harold Pinter's Betrayal.
Oh, he's one of the best.
Yeah.
The master of the pregnant pause.
Yeah, and he's also the master in this play.
I got to be honest, I've never read one of his plays.
Okay.
But I'm fired up on what you said.
What happens
I know
is
his legacy.
it's about betrayal, and which means marriage infidelity. And really, in a way, the underlying caustic element, I think, the really eroding element of, like you're saying, an open marriage, particularly if one doesn't know it's an open marriage, is the adulteration of your trust and your ability to really work together or have the same values. I suppose if people, go in saying we don't want to have a magnanimous
You want it to be magnanimous no matter what.
Yeah.
Then maybe it would work. But it seems that it's hard to pull it off.
But even if monogamy doesn't work, isn't it noble just to try?
Well,
to just go for it, be like, you know what? It feels tough, but I like to go for tough things. I'm going to do the monogamy.
I think it's fine. I mean, where it becomes problematic from what I've seen is on two basic levels. It's with children, which gets really hairy.
When you got kids?
Yeah, and you're going to split up. And the other often is financial. When there's an imbalance where the husband has more money, the wife has more money, and then people get into property wars.
And it's expensive to divorce. I mean, that's what the movie Marriage Story is all about. It's how it just takes, like, fundamentally well-intentioned people and just makes them go through this process that, like, ruins both of you.
Yeah. So, I would guess if you could easily, you couldn't easily, I think, put aside children. But if it were not, a financial, drain and sieve for a lot of people, then,
Yeah, why do they make it so complicated? It should be easier for people to break up.
There is a type of divorce that's called like a
no fault.
Yeah, like a no fault that is pretty easy. But
I think California is doing a better job. They have a formula for what I know. Some people who are getting divorced, and they have a formula for the man's salary. I think it's 35% of his annual salary automatically goes to the ex-wife. And it's like they're getting it pretty much to a formula, and maybe that will make it easier for some people.
Yeah, if there's something that if they can get like some barometer to go off of, at least help them gauge expectations and not make it so, because they're already dealing with so many emotions. But you know what? Look, I don't got any qualms with theory. Like, look, I got my GF. She's my rock. She's my coral. But I'm like, I feel like it's like Derek Jeter style, dude. Like when Derek Jeter's on top, if he was married and messing around, he would send gift baskets to ladies. He was, going around doing his thing, dude. Shortstop New York City. But he wasn't like married doing it. You can't have your cake and eat it too a little bit. It's like you either do the married thing, and if you don't want to, then you just got to face the music, have the tough talk. Don't go messing around.
Right.
Just pick a lane. What do you say when you're driving?
Strider, you're right.
You go,
Yeah.
pick a lane, dude.
Yeah.
And why are you not telling your wife? Because there are kids and finances do complicate things, but at the end of the day, those are big excuses, but they're kind of still excuses. You've entered into this agreement when you get married of like, we're going to have each other's backs. You got to just look at that one agreement that you made and go, do I want this anymore? And you got to opt out. And then you got to take all the baggage that comes with it.
Right.
Because that's what you get into when you put it on. But I like that. Get the first marriage under the belt.
Right, but you're right. Like, you don't
it.
have to get married.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
Just as long as, dude, open and honest communication from the beginning, dude. Take your fears. Talk
But
about
if you do make the mistake, how bound should you be to a mistake?
That's true, too. Of like, is this forever?
Because I agree with
know.
you. It's
I
like
know.
people do it out of pressure. They don't do it out of like really wanting to. But at the same time, it's like you still made the choice.
Yep. And then you got to keep paying forever, or
I was just making a
parties
different
keep
point, I
paying.
think, that I initially meant to make.
Oh yeah, wait, what are you making? What are you saying?
I was saying that you shouldn't be that punished for the mistake. Is what I was initially saying.
Yeah, I don't think you should be continually punished. I don't know.
But I can tell you, this year my wife and I have traveled more than we've ever traveled in 1 year. And I was trying to think about, why is it we've traveled so much? And one of the things I realized in trying to, flip it around and look at it from a different angle is I like being with her so much. I'm with her much more when we travel.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah,
Like at
That's a good
home,
sign.
she's doing yoga. I'm out, I mean,
you're taking
we
meetings.
spent so much more time together traveling, and I thought, well, this might be the side addiction, or the side elation that I've been missing, and it certainly has worked out very well for us, or for me.
love
that's
that.
nice.
That's
Yeah,
fired up
Sally
on
and I
that.
have a good time
Fired
traveling.
up on that.
Yeah.
It is
It's
nice. You
nice.
spend way more time.
Yeah.
I'm a little
And you get
baby
used to
though. I
each
wake
other.
up early. I get cranky, dude.
Oh,
Oh,
of
me
course.
too.
I get cranky.
That's part of the
Cranky.
charm, baby.
Oh,
dude, we were in
when my-
Thailand, dude. Wait, go ahead.
When my sleep gets impeded upon, I get mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
yeah.
just one time my girlfriend was like trying to take the covers in her sleep, and I was like, nope. And just like ripped them off. I don't know. I'm a pretty chill dude,
Very chill.
but when it comes to my sleep, I get testy.
You got to protect your turf, dog.
Well,
gotta
it affects
catch
my
those Z's.
stoke.
Yeah.
That's what goes on. I'm like, you're affecting my stoke directly.
I love
Yeah.
that, and I love that.
It's under threat.
Comforter.
Bill's raising my stoke over here, saying, you've been in a relationship a long time. You're very happy, but it is true when you're living together, you're so in your routines and your own lives. The moments you have together at home are very brief, and even this week.
Or you're thinking
I'm
about other
busy.
stuff. You're thinking about work the next day. You're thinking about work you still have to get done. You're thinking about like some friend you're supposed to go meet that night. Your head's in other places. You're not with each other.
True.
You go on vacation. You're with each other. There's nowhere to be. You can relax. You can just look at each other and be like, oh, I enjoy spending time with you.
Yeah.
You share some kisses. You laugh about some stuff. You maybe make fun of some of the other people who are there.
Of course,
Just a little laugh.
Of course,
Yeah.
just a little something, a little
giggle.
innocent, something like that, dude.
Play some roulette.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to Vegas, dude.
I have Vegas in my mind.
I do like to
throwing
lay
at the
some
tables?
parlays. I like to.
That's fun.
Everyone's got to have a vice. I got a theory. Everyone's got to have one
Dude, I
vice.
think you
love
gotta
to lay
have
down
at
a
least
little
two.
action.
You
3.
got to have 3 vices.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, the trifecta. Okay.
I jewel.
Bill, what's your take on jeweling? a lot of middle.
If I smoke a
schoolers-
jewel 3 days out of the week, can I get bubble lung?
Well,
It's popcorn though.
I'm not.
isn't it?
Is that what it is?
I'm
Depends
not
what
sure.
flavor you're using, dude.
Yeah, I got mint lime.
I can't tell you. I'm.
Did
I
you
have
do Quaaludes when Quaaludes
listen,
were hot?
I am so viceless that you would think I'm a Republican.
Nice. What's up, Stokers of Stoke Nation? I am interrupting this podcast to let you know once again that we are brought to you by Manscaped. Manscaped, thank you so much for keeping our trims pubed, for looking after our hogs, for making sure that our dong pieces are looking super duper fresh. Because, guys, when you trim your dong, you want to do it with people who care. And who cares the most? Manscaped. Manscaped wants you to look fresh with your dongle. You know, they want you to enter a room, whether it be the Golden Globes or Strike Zone or the ESPN Zone, to get cheese fries. They want you to walk in there with people knowing that you trim your pubes, your dong piece, your freaking hog and chestnuts. You know, because ho, 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 motherfuckers. It's the holiday season. Christmas is upon us, and we want you to get the right gift for people, and we want you... You know what? I'm going to come out and say I think you should get it for your dad. Let your dad know that you're of age now and you want to make sure that he take care of his dink. So, guys, criticize your dad's balls and then get the Perfect Package 2.0 where you can get 20% off plus free shipping with the code GODEEP20 at manscaped.com. Your balls and Santa will thank you.
All right, should we answer some questions from the Stokers, guys?
Yeah.
Bill, this is a segment where, you know, Stokers write in, they're honest and open with us, and we just give them some nice, honest feedback. I think your voice, you know, living such a great life that you have and, you know, having so much great experience, I think it's going to be quite impactful.
Okay.
But brace yourself. You know, sometimes these get
I'm
real.
ready.
This is a long one. Boom clap. Brothers of Stoke Nation, I bow to your excellence and cannot thank you enough. Can I start with this? Fuck Puzio. He's a guy I fought in high school. Anyways, I need help from the gods of Stoke and Solace. This might be long, so I sincerely apologize, but your boy needs help. I have been with the same woman for almost 2 years now. We dated for a year, fell in absolutely in love. She is my rock, she is my world, and I stand by her side through anything. She is the most beautiful woman in the world to me, and every time I look at her, the love I feel for her gives me goosebumps. But like the warm kind of goosebumps, the ones that feel good. Anyway, we broke up for a little bit because it was not working out. That time was my fault. I was not myself, and I was abusing substances that, looking back now, make me ashamed I was the man I was with her. I turned my life around after the breakup. I was in a dark place for a while until I started following the lessons taught by our two great modern philosophers, Sir John Thomas, the Wise, and Sir Chadwick Gregorian, the Golden.
Oh, thank you.
Legends,
Wow.
dude.
The positivity you two infused
The
into my
Bollywood.
brain honestly rewired my brain, and now I work out, eat healthy, take cold showers, spread Stoke anywhere I can. My life is amazing, happy, and so fucking stoked. I have no one to thank but you two, so truly thank you.
Beast.
After bettering myself through y'all's teachings, I became the man I once was and the man she loved. She waited for me and we got back together and have been in absolute love ever since. We have been so happy, however, we do argue very often. She always likes to critique me and it feels like I cannot do anything myself without worrying she will get mad. I got to all kinds of events with her where I have to meet people I do not know, which I don't mind, but at the same time I would love to have her come hang out with my friends who she knows very well. I go to weddings with her and her family and I kill it. I get the whole family laughing and they love me. I took her to my cousin's wedding.
Dude, this guy wrote the Odyssey of an email, dude.
Yeah, I just saw this. This is a very long
This is long.
email. I'm going to plow through.
All right.
What do you guys think?
I mean, dude, at least when I'm at the halfway point, I'm like, look, dude, I've been dating my GF a while, and Bill can probably expound on this more. Like, you know, dude, you invest in each other, dude. Your personalities rub off on each other in dank ways, and, you know, I don't know if he's doing anything embarrassing or whatever, that she's like judging him or not letting him have his own freedoms. But we were talking about this before a little bit. You know, you want to be in a relationship with someone who augments your great qualities and helps you improve upon those that, you know, need improvement and maybe can help you discover them. So, I mean, maybe this isn't all a bad thing is what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, I think the fact that he's taking cold showers and bettering himself warrants him the opportunity to write enough.
And further down, he says that she got mad at him at a wedding, I believe, and she yelled at him in front of everyone, cried in front of everyone, and consistently stormed away. Mm-hmm. And I've been in relationships where that's the norm, and it doesn't have to be. I think you both have the ability to stay calm. And, you know, once in a while it can be good to let it rip, but it's not something that should happen. It's not something that you should be afraid is going to happen. So, I don't know. I would tell her that kind of thing shouldn't happen a lot, or it probably means we're not in a good place together, and then we should probably not be together. Was that heavy?
Oh, yeah, you're dropping the hammer.
Yeah.
Bill, what do you
I don't know. You don't want to be. That stuff it's hard to go through, and it's hard on everybody, and it's. I don't know if it should be this.
I'm
the
not
norm.
tracking it well. I'm not quite sure what's going on.
Well, did you ever have a relationship where you guys like fought in public a lot?
I had a relationship where we fought an awful lot, but we didn't go out in public that much. So that wasn't our MO.
But if you're in a relationship like that, it's probably best to get out, right?
I don't think it sounds good. I mean, it basically, I think, shows disrespect for each other or one for the other, and it seems very dramatic, perhaps done for reasons of trying to put someone down, or it sounds toxic.
Yeah, and especially a public display like that is always seems like a lesson's trying to be taught a little bit. No, there's exceptions, but
yeah, I'd say follow the stoke if it's impeding on your stoke. Unless you're Johnny Depp and Penelope Cruz.
Word.
With that kind of passion, I'd say it's probably best to bail and find someone who treats you with respect in public.
Aaron, what do you think?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of fried from earlier today, so I kind of missed that question.
Oh,
dude,
no worries,
it was
dude.
an odyssey, dude. I'm telling you, it was.
Yeah,
I think
it
this
was.
guy. I think this guy's pretty upset and he's venting.
Yeah.
And you got to get it out sometimes. Sometimes it's just a bad night.
Yep.
And you're pissed off and you don't know where to put it, and you write into your pod, and that's it.
And you know what, dude? That's what we're here for, dude. And you know what? I hope you look. I think JT came down with the call.
I might have been too heavy. I
think
once you got to the wedding stuff,
you're feeling something. You went through.
I've been there. I've been in a wedding where my girlfriend was like crying and yelling at me, and it was painful.
Yeah.
Dude, I handled it horribly too. I was fighting with her. We couldn't stop fighting. My mom's in the other room. I go, Mom, you got to come in here and tell me who's right in this argument. My mom comes in. Mom comes in, and she watches us like fight for a minute. I go, Mom, what's going on? She goes, Jean Thomas, you're being a psycho. And then to my girlfriend, he goes, but you keep antagonizing him. And then she walked out.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, it was good advice.
Laying it down.
Yeah. I was like, all right, I got to chill. All right.
Okay.
You're going to be all right, dog.
Yeah, you'll be all right.
It's good you're doing good.
Yeah, dude.
Codependence Anonymous. It's a 12-step program. No, I'm kidding. Hello, hunks. This is not a question, but rather a call to action. Airbnb has been trying to crack down on people using their service for raging. They're trying to purge the party house lifestyle. Airbnbs are great for raging. Say you're back home for this summer and you're trying to throw down, but nobody's parents are down to let the boys get silly. Next plan of action, the Airbnb. I say you guys join me and take a stand against the abomination of a rule. The only two dudes who correct this are you, and I think you know what to do. P.S. People ask you to solve their problems, but I want to know how you fellas are doing. Good, man.
Nice.
Dude, first Facebook with Encyclopedia Britannica, or whatever the fuck that is. And now Airbnb with Ragers.
Oh, dude.
Dude, these tech companies are impeding on liberties.
Oh, dude, Cambridge Analytica, dude.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Dude. Oh, dude.
I was close.
Yeah, dude, yeah. You're literally, dude. We A to C it, dude. You dropped it, and I was like, wait, Encarta? What's
Dude,
going on,
I
dude?
knew it had
Oh, dude,
I knew
for
it had
sure,
an
for sure.
Annika.
Yeah.
It had an Annika.
No,
in
you
there.
drilled that Annika, dude.
But
Dude, I should have had no idea.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, but you
I didn't
picking
know the
up on
correction.
dude,
I was like,
dude,
what?
You laid it down, dude.
I'm glad I laid it down the way I laid it down.
For sure.
Yeah. So
what's
Mark
up, dude?
Zuckerberg, what up, dude?
Bleeding into our stoke, dude. I mean, you guys are the masters of stoke, dude. You guys lay it down. You know how to throw the epic ragers. I mean,
Well, you're the sage of Stoke.
oh, dude, thank you, dude.
Dude,
I
I'm just
appreciate
saying,
it.
if I see Zuckerberg at 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu, buddy might be getting put in a triangle.
Oh, dude, I got no doubts in my dome you'd be putting him in the triangle, dude.
I don't know what that
I'd be
hold
freaking
is,
dangling
but-
it saying it's dinner time.
Oh, dude.
More cowbell.
Dinner time, dude.
The freaking...
Yep. Triangle hold. Bill, have you ever raged in an Airbnb or
No, I can't say that I have.
Here's my thing, dude. I think they should let you rage if you return the house as good as you found it.
dude? Yes. Dude.
If you bring it back to them as good as you found, if you clean everything up, if you keep everybody in line, and you still have a fucking good time, then you should be able to rent it.
Yeah, you just be respectful. Do you know? Don't throw down in there like it's a party you're never going to come back, or like it's a house you're never going to come back to, even though it is. Or maybe you want to come back there and revisit it, dude. My GF threw me a dank little surprise party there, dude. We had some tasteful IPAs, dude. A nice little ice cream cake, dude. It was very dank. Then we went out bowling. And
I
dude,
fought Andrew that night.
Oh yeah, you did fight.
Because I thought he was flirting with a girl that Joe
But dude,
used to date.
where did you fight him though, dude?
In the street.
Thank you, dude. Not in the Airbnb. We respected the property, dude.
For sure.
All right, dudes. What up, Chad and JT? I've been an avid adherent to the podcast for several months now. I seek your noble wisdom and guidance.
This is a long one again.
Yeah.
Let's get some quick bangers.
Here we
dude.
go.
Yeah.
What's up, lads? Got to start with the obligatory expression of gratitude for the pod. Recently started listening and am super supportive of the way you guys guide us young bucks through this dense forest that we call life. To this point, recently the GF of 3 years who I love and want to see as happy as she deserves to be has made it seem as if she is not appreciated, paid enough at work. I try to talk to her about potential ways to express this to her employers, but she shuts down the convo and then seems as if she does not want to talk about it at all. I'm at a total crossroads as on one hand I feel she knows how to handle herself. However, it bums me out to see her overworked and stressed out without the proper reward. I'm wondering if I should just let it go and be as supportive as possible in this trying time, or if I should try to keep encouraging her to express her concerns to her employer and potentially improving her overall stoic and financial situation. Sorry for the long question, but thank you once again for the constant stream of positivity. Dude, I think you just encourage her through compliments. You just be like, babe, you're so badass. Babe, I love the way you just get after it. And then other things like that, and I think that'll just reinforce that mindset that will help her make that jump. And then if she doesn't, you just,
Dude, let her know, dude, go for it. Take a risk. You love and respect that she takes the risk, but guess what? If it doesn't work out, that's planned. That's life, dude. Let me tell you what, when you make a plan, dude, plan on it not going as exactly how you planned, because that's how life is, dude. You got curveballs. They're coming right at you, but in my experience, life's throwing fastballs, straight heat right down the middle. You got to lean in, dude. You got to freaking just get on base, dude. So just
you're just talking about getting hit by the pitch.
I'm just talking, dude, life. Everyone talks about curveballs in life, dude. I'm talking about heater just coming right up the middle, dude. You just lean in, get hit, get on base.
Get on base.
Take those hits, dude.
I'll take a 400 OBP
Yeah.
over some guy smacking 370 but never taking a walk.
Thank you. Manufacture runs, dude.
Let's do it, dude. Small ball.
Let's go. Bill, what's your take on this?
I love listening to you guys.
It's about a
You're
modest
awesome.
approach to success.
And I got to tell you right
where
now,
it's incremental and it takes some sacrifice.
that's what's up. And you're hanging in with us. We've done a deep dive on. We've been
here for 2 hours.
We've been going
dude.
2 hours.
Dude,
Let's keep going.
Yeah,
Let's keep going.
How are you doing?
What if we
I'm
did
doing
4?
great.
What if
I
we
love
did
it.
4 hours? Sorry.
Your call.
I lost it. I get excited by the notion.
Dude, we got guys that listen to this pod that are commuting 6 hours, dude.
Yeah.
They're on the subway, dude. They're going from the East Village to friggin' I don't know anything about New York, dude. But
Dude,
they're
I don't
big
think
time
you're far off, though.
fellas.
This fucking guy's traveling through some boroughs,
Yeah,
okay?
dude.
He's taking the 6
Borough to
to
borough.
the 3
Call
The
this,
IRT.
to the R to the there.
call this guy a friggin' otter the way he's burrowing, dude. I don't know if otters burrow, dude, but call him one, dude. You know what I
A
mean?
beaver.
Yeah, call him a beaver, dude, the way he
Beaver.
burrows,
Straight
dude.
beaver.
Call him a beagle, dude. When he's exploring and burrowing.
What was the
dude.
last question about?
Wait, this guy that just talked?
his
GF.
GF. Is she going to get the promotion? How much pressure should she put on? I mean, I'm just thinking, dude, you just tell her, babe, go for it. You got to go for it. I know you can do it. They got total confidence in you at work, and you got to have confidence in
So you're
yourself.
saying
you can do this job.
To question her employer.
Yes, go after the
Talk to him.
employer.
I think
yeah,
so.
I go to
Go
the employer and
after.
I go, why haven't you bumped Sally up yet?
Oh.
Do you know a good thing when you see it? Because I got a feeling you don't, partner. And I'm just telling you this, and I'm not telling you hard, but make the right choice. Bump Sally up, or I'll put a bullet between her.
Yeah, dude. Dude, you get mobster with them, dude. You walking? They call me the otter where I'm from, motherfucker.
I think he's
You
been
want me to
watching.
smash you
My
with some
burrow.
stones I found in the shallow water? Because they call me the otter.
Is that the wise guy take?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the wise guy
guy
take.
take.
That's the wise guy take.
Which I don't take.
Okay.
No. But dude, you gotta have
I
your
will.
GS back no matter what, dude. Take some risks, dude. Have her back, dude. She's gonna go there and get it done. Success or fail, you're in her corner, dude. That's what's up, dude.
Yeah.
I like
Better
that.
pipes.
Hang with my dogs.
Jagger or Robert Palmer?
Ooh, wait, Robert Palmer.
Addicted
In
to
case anyone's
love,
not knowing, yeah, Robert Palmer is just like, she's a job to girl. What the fuck is this song? What is Robert Palmer's song again?
Addicted
no,
to Love.
legs. Like that's
I got to listen to him.
Addicted to Love.
Addicted
yeah, dude,
to Love,
Mick
yeah.
Jagger, dude. But you know what, dude? I'm fired up on how stoked that question just got me right there. That question just made me catch my second wind right now. All right, I'm going Robert Palmer, dude.
Dude,
I'm going
Palmer.
Robert Palmer, dude.
Arnold Palmer.
Dude, I just got horny.
Really? From that song? I mean, yeah, dude. Robert Palmer, I think, is a sex-driven artist. You know, I think that's what he's all about.
Any rocker dude from the '80s, they'll get that tea flowing.
Yeah,
They're gonna
dude.
get the juices going.
Cocaine.
Yes.
Oh,
80s music.
Have
yeah.
you noticed cocaine has gone down?
I think so.
Really?
But
How ubiquitous was it?
I got a question because Chad here was like, he kind of shaded me.
Whoa.
shaded you?
What up, dude? Beef, dude. What up?
how'd I
dude?
shade-
Well, maybe I'm being a bit
No.
strong. No.
Dude, take it how you feel,
I
bro.
asked him if he knew who David Byrne was.
Oh, we love David
Talking
Byrne.
Heads?
Yeah, dude. Brian Eno, David Byrne.
So he was saying, to me, who the fuck are you talking about?
No, if you
Oh,
like David
dude,
Byrne, I got
dude.
news for you. This must be the place because we love
Oh, that's what I'm talking
dude,
about,
now I'm getting
dude.
friggin' ousted.
Oh, dude.
Bill,
Dude, there must have been strange overtones going through your dome.
I
You
didn't know
what's
you were
happening,
gonna
dude.
excommunicate me on the pod, dude. Fuck.
Ah, dude.
Well, I'm younger. I'm the youngest one.
That
here,
is true, that
So,
is true,
So you
that is
guys can
true.
all suck it.
But you know what, dude? You're going to have
no,
that.
not you.
Yeah, not,
Absent
except for
of
Bill. I'll
dude.
suck it for
Unless you're
Bill,
into
dude.
it, dude. Yeah, in which
Oh, I would
case-
totally do that.
Yeah, I'll do double time.
Fucking for sure.
What up, dude?
Legends.
I will Spotify David Byrne.
Okay,
after this.
so
You'll be fired up.
he's got a show in New York, which Lori and I just saw, David
Ooh.
Byrne, called American Utopia,
Epic.
which is about as good as it gets anywhere.
I gotta
If
do it.
anyone is listening and is in New York, run.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, he's brilliant,
Oh,
dude.
unbelievable.
He provided so many of the bike racks in New York. My roommate did a tour of it one time.
Really?
Yeah, he's a big biker, and he designed them himself and made them like extra inviting to encourage more.
It's extraordinary.
Yeah, he's a talented guy.
Sorry I outed you.
You know what, though? That's what we do here. We're all about honesty,
We keep it real.
integrity on here. We keep it real. I love that. Fired us up, dude.
Nah, I appreciate the burn. You zinged me good,
Yeah, dude, you
dude.
got
I
David
love it.
Byrne, dude.
Oh,
David
dude.
Byrne,
Nice
dude.
pun, dude. Dude, that's what I'm saying, dude.
Nothing gets me fired up more than a solid zing.
Yeah, dude.
Nice bruise to my ego, and then I'll repair and I'll come back
No, it's just-
stronger.
dude, that's what's
and-
tomorrow
and-
for. Tomorrow's to
and-
reflect on the burns and grow from them,
and
dude.
more cultured.
Yeah.
And tomorrow I'm gonna come into the office and be like,
This is
"You guys
growth."
read David,
Dude, I've thought about
And guess what?
burns
Everyone's
from,
gonna
like
be stoked
5
on
years
that.
ago, and I've been like, that person who made fun of me 5 years ago, were they right or was I right? Like, do I need to improve or should I just write them off?
I always assume they're right, and then I just go to
That's
the
the
gym
best
and
way
work
to do
out.
it.
Oh, yeah.
Work out my mind. Anything, yeah.
No, I was just trying to get you to listen to him.
I will.
Dude,
I
you
will
got it.
now.
You
I
got it.
appreciate
What's your favorite Talking Head song?
Burning down the house.
Burning down the house.
Stop Making Sense?
Yeah, that's fabulous.
Yeah, that's good
Yeah.
stuff.
I was explaining that he has this cadence that
Yeah.
is extraordinary. The way he sings, it just, the phrasing or the pauses in the phrasing is just unique.
Yeah.
And this show, he's out there with the whole band on the stage, and it's the way it's choreographed is extraordinary. It was just. I told my wife I wanted to go every day, but she's like, first time's really intense. But I'm going to sneak back if I can.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. New York, what a great trip. We were in
Yeah.
New York recently.
And
It
dude,
was sick.
live performance.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude. We went and saw a buddy's show the other day. And
Jace Armstrong.
Yeah, Jace
Super
Armstrong.
talented guy.
So
Yeah.
good, dude. So he did a one-man show, and we were like, and one-man shows, there's like phobias around those and stuff. Like, oh man. But dude, he was so funny and so good, and we're like, it really just it's a soul-enriching thing. Dude, if you're Stokers, if you're like in a little bit of a rut and you're like, what am I doing, dude? I'm in the house, I'm just gaming too much, dude. I'm talking S to 13-year-olds in Montana playing COD or something like that, dude. Not being the best you, even though I get me a little bit stoked. Go see some theater, dude. Go
Yeah,
take in
take
some
it in.
art, bro.
Expand your mind.
Go to a museum for a little
What,
bit.
are you a Jonathan Demigod? Do you like Spalding Gray?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was some good
Yeah,
stuff. Speaking of
but-
one-man show.
yeah. But, I mean, this was just in such a league of its own. I think I heard him in the Greek many years ago.
Oh, great venue.
Great
Yeah,
venue.
epic.
I mean, you don't feel like you're in LA.
No.
It's so, yeah.
You're in the woods. You're in
Right.
like where a lost civilization would be.
Yeah.
Without the snakes.
Oh, my
Right.
gosh. Yeah, and just to re-harp on this, Fer de Lance, what is it?
Fair de Lance.
Fair de Lance. Imagine...
It's a pit viper.
Yeah, it's just a pit viper, and this is its habitat, and they are like.
Are we talking about first wives again?
Oh, dude! What up, dude? Zing City over here, dude.
Zingwantanejo. That's where Dufresne went.
Dude, you got to imagine Joe Maurice's dong, and there hasn't been enough dong talk on this podcast yet, so I'm kind of shoehorning this in right here. So I'm sorry. And Fer-de-Lance is essentially Joe Maurice's hog, slithering around the lower canopy, dude, in Honduras, dude. You know, an ancient beast, you know, capable of slinging, and sorry to be too crude here, venom at its, you know, anybody who happens to stumble upon its territory, and it's a nocturnal animal. And I mean,
when
God forbid some sort of cougars going there.
Slithering, I feel wholesome.
I love it. Thank you, dude. Thank you, dude.
Do you think sometimes he's led by his dong?
Joe?
You know,
no question.
Or the lost city.
He gets pulled by it, and he's like, "This is ancient history just coming through my hog piece right now."
There's iron in the blood.
Mom, what's up?
He does exist.
Hey, Mom.
Monica, tell us about Joe's hog.
What up?
Mom, you're live on the pod.
It's live. We got Bill Benenson here. He's a legend. Bill Benenson, legendary producer here. Monica, how are you? It's Schreider. What up?
Hey, sweetie. I love to hear you guys.
Hey, Monica.
Thanks, Mom. Mom, we're talking to a filmmaker who found a lost city, like an ancient offshoot of the Mayan culture in Honduras. Hadn't been discovered.
They just discovered it?
Yeah, we're talking to him now.
Oh, wow. No, so I'm not going to interrupt you. That sounds a lot more interesting than what I have to say.
No, a mother's word should be cherished and valued. So
I'm all for it.
All right, Mom.
All right, I love you guys. Say hi to that person that did that discovery, and that's amazing.
Bill
All right,
Benenson.
will do, Mom.
Thank
Love you very much, my love. I miss you.
All right.
Bye.
Love you.
Bye. Love you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Epic.
Bye.
I like that, dude. You're a good son, dude. My mom called, dude. Send it to silence, dude.
Oh, you
Female,
did?
dude. Have to call her back in the morning, dude. She's gonna be jelly now, dude.
Sorry.
Nah, dude.
Where is she from in Colombia?
Medellin?
Medellin.
Last question. What's up, my dogs? I love you guys and everything you put out. I've been following the podcast for a while now, and it truly brings me happiness. So thank you for all you do. I was wondering how you guys tackle the deepest questions like, what is existence? Where did existence come from? Is there something after death? And how to combat existential crisis. The heaviness of life can be too much to bear sometimes, and if you believe in certain religions, then the afterlife could be even worse for some. So my main question is, do you guys ponder these infinitely deep questions? And if so, what answers do you come to that might relieve some of the weight and might make you feel better? Thanks, guys. Much love.
Great question, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, Bill, do you want to lead this? I mean, this,
Yeah, sure. I mean, throw it to me.
I mean, all right. Let me.
No, I can
because you got
say-
some life experience and you've done.
Yeah.
You know,
I could say that if that's really bothering him, I suggest Excedrin.
Which one's Excedrin?
It has aspirin, the Tylenol ingredient, amphetamine, and caffeine.
But so what you're saying, there's no fix for this.
No,
I love it. I love it.
try
You
to
just
get
learn how
rid
to
of the
deal with
headache.
it. You just learn how to deal with it. Yeah. Because you got to get busy living. Or
Yeah,
get busy
right.
dying.
Yeah, just, if that's holding you back, then, just try to clear it up.
Yeah, because there's no, dude, I don't know, man. And I don't think there's anything after you die. So I think what Bill's saying is true. You got to embrace that fear and just try to let it motivate you to live as excitedly and as purposefully as possible.
That's what's up. I don't know what happens after you die. I like to believe there is something to look forward to because I always get amped and looking forward to something that stokes me
Dude,
up.
I
like
want Mario
getting
Tennis
dinner with
in
my
the sky.
GF. That's what I'm saying. I want Mario Tennis in the sky with my boys, dude. And we're at a garden party, dude, and all of our GFs are there just hanging out, dude, and Bill's cruising in, dude. And we got some freaking dank, times going on, dude, and we're playing some freaking David Byrne on the radio, dude, and Chad's well versed in it by this point, dude. And that just sounds like eternal stoke for me. So, but yeah, dude, I mean, it sounds like there are things in life we can't make sense of. Our human minds are only able to grasp things through the limited lens that we have. I think just go get some good life experiences. Don't get too toxic on any certain things. Do everything in moderation, except moderation, my friend.
Aaron, you good?
Yeah, I just trying to figure out that voice.
My dog, I choose to believe in the most optimistic view possible. I embrace and get stoked on the unknown. I think if we know what the end is, then that's boring, you know?
Beast, dude.
I'm like, you know what?
up, dude?
Whatever happens, like, I'm just like, you know what? I don't know what happens, but I'm going to choose to believe that the afterlife is filled with Mario Tennis, good vibes,
bagel bites
that don't have carbs.
Yes, and
They're
don't
just-
burn your mouth right when you bite
that don't
in.
burn. Yeah, you know, and then maybe you go, you know, when you die, you get the choice. Like, hey, do you want to be a friggin' lion and go back? Do you want to go be, you know, like a new Strider?
Yep.
Do you want to go be a new JT, a new Bill? You know, like.
Yes.
I just think it's I think at the base of everything, it's all love.
So you're like at the arcade of life, and you can choose to put some quarters back in the game.
Yeah.
I love
but,
it, dude.
you know,
I love it.
It better be
You know,
a huge freaking arcade, though, dude, because I'll get sick of the games after a
True,
while.
dude.
Well, as
better
long as
have
they have
Terminator
Time Crisis.
and Terminator
If they
2
have Time
Judgment
Crisis,
Day,
I'll
dude.
play forever.
Yeah, of course.
Arcades
But do
were
they
a great
keep it
time.
operational? All right, yeah, they do. They
The
do.
80s?
And they keep the gun sliding, because when it
Yeah.
doesn't slide, I'm done, dude.
Fire
I
call,
think they
dude.
take the best things from this life. They're Time Crisis, COD, McFlurries,
Buffalo wings.
Good Waves, Buffalo Wings, Frank's Red Hot Sauce, and they're like, all right, that's the best reviewed
Dude, you can
stuff.
Postmates for sure.
And then you
dude.
get to watch like The Town on repeat.
Oh, The Town, dude. Affleck just doing push-ups for no reason. It doesn't help his character at all in the movie, dude. But
Yeah.
just bumping them out, dude. And I'm fired up seeing that, dude.
Yeah, dude, it's tasteful,
Yeah,
though. He didn't
dude.
overdo it, though.
True, no, he did it right. And honestly, I saw it and I was like, what up, dude?
Or
And dude,
pumping
he
up.
wears all those Carhartt jackets.
I love Carhartt,
dude,
dude.
yeah.
I wish I was a guy that knew how to use tools so I could authentically wear Carhartt, dude.
Only okay. This is what
You
happens.
know how to use the tools of your heart.
This
Dude,
is what
fucking-
happens.
Fucking thank you, dude.
This is what happens when you die. You get to watch movies that inspire you to do pull-ups. I'm talking The Town,
Oh,
Death Race,
Pumping iron.
Does my
Pumping
shoulder
iron.
hurt when I do pull-ups?
No,
Dude,
because
nice. Well, then I'm banging out a lot of reps, dude, which is good for my lats and good for
Yeah.
my self-confidence.
Shoulder's not hurting, dude.
yeah. So that's what I believe. I expect Time Crisis when I die.
Those are my
Hell yeah, dude. I'll be playing with you two-player, dude.
But I think at the foundation, it's all love.
Yeah.
I believe that that foundation of all this creation is all love, and Shakespeare.
What do you think, Bill?
I think we should do the best we can when we're here and really appreciate it. And so I have this phrase that is actually my license plate, but it's a little screwed up because I'm dyslexic, so you can't give me a little break, okay?
Of course.
It's Isima, which is every second is a miracle.
Yeah.
So that, to me, we're damn lucky to be here. And,
I know.
It's true.
You know,
We're so
Yeah.
lucky.
I think it's
so. I agree.
be optimistic, but embrace the now. Embrace your life now. Don't look forward to something better. Take joy in what you're doing now, because there's joy to be found in everything.
Right.
That's a great call.
Yeah.
Or stoke.
I love that.
Yeah.
Bill, what a great Isama. Love it.
Bill,
Yeah.
who's your beef of the week? Your beef of the week is what you're beefing with, or it can be a historical beef that you just want to bring attention to.
Well, I can't bring myself to name the beast of the nation, the man called Dump.
Oh,
So
right.
Yes, yes.
I just start frothing. I just went past his building in New York, and I think the cab driver thought he had an insane person in the car.
Right.
I was screaming and carrying on. So I can't. I think it's a mortal threat to the country. So that's my beef for sure.
I love it.
Love it.
I still need to figure mine out. So
Oh, dude.
Strider, what's your
dude,
beef of the week?
my beef of the week's got to be this dude that was, indeed, honestly, nothing too harsh against him, but my GF and I were scoping Christmas trees, dude, this weekend, dude. Having a lovely little time, dude, at the Christmas tree lot. And, dude, friggin', I go over there and I pull out this nice 5 to 6 footer, dude. Something tasteful, nothing too big, dude. Not just gonna fit in our 1-bedroom apartment, dude. Nothing too gaudy, dude. Nothing too gauche, dude. And freaking, I put it out there and I'm asking the dude that's gonna come over and like slice it so we can get a nice look, see how plush it is. Some dude jacked the tree, dude. He jacked the tree that like
Really?
I brought out. Yeah, and I know that he saw me take it out, dude.
wow.
Yeah, So good for him that he got a sick tree, but he's definitely my beef, and I'm not holding it against him though, dude. But I had to share this, get it off my chest, because I don't want to harbor it. And the tree that my GF and I did end up getting is tight.
Nice, dude.
Yeah.
Good, yeah.
Like,
Happy ending.
My beef of the week is with the game Cards Against Humanity.
oh yeah.
It's whack, dude. And it's like the weirdest card always wins. Like whoever gets like boners from Mars like attached to Michael Jackson's dad. It's like what? Like okay, fine. I got beat on one round where it was the pilot on the plane says, "Everyone on the plane, prepare yourself for." I put sexual tension because I thought that'd be really funny if a pilot said that.
Nice.
The person who beat me put "fuck mountain," which is funny. But if the pilot was talking about that, he would have said, "Brace yourself for fuck mountain," not "prepare yourself." So make your card match the question, not the question match your card.
Good call. And like in apples to apples, a buddy of ours, Dan, was saying this earlier today. It's like apples to apples is a similar format to Cards Against Humanity, except you have to actually author. You write down the crude stuff to make it crude, and that's what the game ends up devolving to always, because it's funny and you're playing and having a good time, for a few rounds, and once the rents go to bed, dude. And at least like if he would have written "fuck mountain" off the top of his head in
That
the
would have
moment,
been hilarious.
I'd be like, this is a funny dude.
That's hilarious.
But "fuck mountain's" right there, so yeah, just a lack of creativity in that game.
All right, I got my beef.
What's your beef of the week, dude?
My beef is with my new wireless printer.
Whoa.
I can't connect to it. Yeah.
Have you guys like connect to it?
Well, yeah, I've spoken to it and I've like tried to connect, and then it's like establish the Wi-Fi, and I'm like I don't see the printer, so
Oh, that's roughed up.
Printers in general they're just the cause of so much strife and anxiety.
So
like,
true.
It's like, why do you have to be wireless? Just be okay with cords, Mark Zuckerberg.
Exactly. It's not like I'm moving
and
the
they're
printer around.
They're like a Jaguar, like in the car world. Like they just break down all the time.
They break down
it's like,
all the time.
You look great, but can I rely on you for 2 straight weeks?
It's like,
So
need
true.
more ink. It's like, well,
Yeah.
fuck you, dude.
Yeah. You can't print paper now?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Oh, that's so whack, dude. Yeah, I feel bad about that.
Dude, the
for you,
printer at
dude.
the office is supposed to scan stuff to me on my email, and I will scan it 4 times. No email, dude.
I know,
right
dude.
now?
What is, like,
Dude, I'm going to say this right now.
I can power bomb that thing, dude.
I don't think I've ever been able to print anything from a wireless printer in my life ever, dude.
thank you.
Ever in my life, not once.
Yeah.
Ever. Not even when I'm at the FedEx Center, dude, or the freaking UPS
For real?
store or whatever it
Really?
is, dude. And I was trying to print up some itinerary for a dank trip my GF and I have coming
You know
up.
why?
Can't do it.
Because you're an old soul, and you're connecting to what's true and real, and that's chords.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Analog.
Analog.
A lost analog.
Yep. I love that. I love
right.
that. Fires me up.
Strider, you're up actually later. Bill,
Sure.
who is your babe of the week?
Nancy Pelosi.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
I'm sensing a theme.
Yeah, there is. It's my hope that Dump will get dumped along with Pence, and she becomes president, and that's the end of the problem for the Democratic Party about who's going to run for president.
Do you think a Republican Senate is going to do that, though?
Well, I don't. It's very unlikely. But if they feel that right now they're in a circular firing squad, I think. If they don't impeach him or convict, bless you.
Thank you.
Sorry. They could be voted out because that's the way it's been going. I mean, 2 senators in Kentucky and Louisiana, was it? The Democrat won with Dump going there twice for those candidates. They can be voted out for the anger of most of the country, I think, towards this man whose name we cannot mention.
Yes.
Why can't we say it?
It's written everywhere.
Because it makes me sick.
Buildings.
Right.
Okay, I mean, I could say it, but anyway, so they can be voted out by the voters.
And we're talking about Papa John's.
You're the Papa John's guy,
Okay.
dude.
Well, no, they could be voted out by the Democrats and the independents who are sick of him. But if they vote against him, then the Papa Johns are going to primary them out.
Yes.
So they're totally screwed. So what could happen, they could say, we're screwed. They could get together and go to dump and say, take a walk, we'll give you a pardon. And take that second dump with you, and we'll give him a pardon. Now, this is unlikely, but it's kind of my wish for the year.
It's crazy times.
Yep.
It is absolutely crazy.
I think so.
Chad, who is your babe of the week?
My baby of the week is a taco salad I prepared for lunch today.
Oh, dude.
I didn't get a chance to look at it.
I saw it, dude.
You saw it?
Damn
Dude,
it.
bro, yeah, when you put it down immediately, I was like, what? Dude, I triple taked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
dude.
sitting right across from you. I didn't see it.
Yeah, dude.
I gave it a nice up down, dude. That's the only thing I give up downs
And-
with
and-
since I got my GF, dude.
and you
Head
know
to toe. on
what
that
I have-
taco
Oh,
sandwich.
dude, thank you so much. And you know what? This is my babe. I'm sorry.
Go.
No, please,
No,
please,
it's
please.
fine.
I'm getting
This is
fired
not
up.
about your lunch, all right?
sorry.
This is mine.
I am getting
sorry.
fired up right now. All right.
I'm sorry.
I use brand new Tupperware for that too.
Whoa. I mean, dude, yeah.
And don't worry, because I will keep just that one, and I won't throw it away.
I love that. My GF gave me one of those. And you know what?
Oh, good for the environment.
Yeah.
And I like that it's see-through Tupperware, too, because you're not hiding that delicious-looking taco salad
I was
from
like,
us.
you know what? Yeah, this is open to everyone in the office, but I'm going to eat it.
Yes.
I put a lot of care into it. I put a lot of thought. I thought about it the night before. I put arugula in there.
Mm,
That helps with blood flow.
love it.
You guys know what I'm talking about.
Of course.
Joe's Hog.
Thank you.
I put some ground beef, avocado, tomato, La Victoria, hot sauce, medium, olive oil, and red wine vinaigrette.
Whoa.
Dude, it looked so dank, dude.
I was really stoked on it, and I was just more so proud of myself for making such a fine creation.
How good does it feel when you create something dank, dude, and you're like, hell yeah, dude, I got this coming up. Gonna freaking house this for lunch later.
It makes me feel like I can drive without listening to music because I'm so fired up.
You're so in the zone, dude. They say the brain is in hemispheres. They say when you're driving like that, you're in your right dome. You are being creative when you're doing that, dude. You're driving, guess what? You're not just driving, you're creating, dude.
Thinking of more salads in the future.
Exactly, dude. Am I going to add more avocado or am I going to add more oil? I don't know, dude.
I don't know. I love it.
Fired up on this
Fired
taco
up on that,
salad.
Nice.
What's your babe?
Oh, my babe of the week's got to be my GF, dude. I mentioned we went Christmas tree shopping, so I'm still definitely amped up and fired up on that, dude. But before we did that, dude, my babe, my GF knows that I like to catch my Z's, dude. And we went on Sundays when we went Christmas tree shopping, dude. And she showed up, dude, because she woke up earlier and surprised me with a coffee from one of my favorite coffee shops, Feuds. So it started in the Bay Area. Very dank. They do different like blends, and they have like they don't do lattes or anything. It's all just like pour over drip style, dude. But they can get creative for you. And she showed up and brought me a nice hot coffee to sip on at the tree farm, dude. And I was going around, dude. I was just freaking feeling warmth from within and without, dude. I was just amped. So yeah, dude, fired up my GF.
Hell
For
yeah,
just,
dude.
dude, my GF just, my baby week just surprising me.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, thank you.
Dude, Surprise Joe is just like, I mean, you get that energy boost, and then you're like, I'm going to go buy a freaking tree.
Oh,
That's energy.
My baby of the week is the coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Mike Tomlin, and it's long overdue. He's been a great coach for a long time, and he's been doing a great job this whole season. This is coming off their most recent victory where they're now 8-5. And I just got to say, dude, you lose Ben Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, Juju Smith-Schuster, and James Conner, and you're dominating like this. And you can even include Ryan Shazier. And you're doing
Yep.
this great. Like, it's just a spectacular coaching job by a coach who's been consistently great and probably consistently underrated just because we get pwned by the Patriots. And, dude, I'm happy to see you doing so well. So, Mike Tomlin, you're my baby of the week.
fire call.
Great.
Who's your Bill? Legend of the week.
Well, I've got to say David Byrne.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
That was the highlight.
Great call.
That and my wife being able to get us in to see it.
Nice.
Legend.
So Lori, she doesn't want to go back every day, but I'm still really happy to have gone once.
That's amazing. It's nice. That's an amazing treat. And it isn't nice to get a nice little, when your GF, aka your wife, your GFF, your GF forever, hooking you up like that with a nice little gift. and a shared experience. Experience gifts are great.
Yeah, they are. I mean, I feel like I'm being very analog, but it was extraordinary.
Yeah,
and also our daughter's birthday. So
happy
birthday.
yeah,
Nice.
So that was it was good. We just got back from New York, and that's good to be home.
Is she living out in New York? Were you visiting
daughter,
her?
yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah,
Love that.
yeah.
Right on. Chad, who is your legend of the week?
My legend of the week is the steam room at the new gym I go to because I just moved.
Fire.
And they have a fire steam room, and it just there's nothing better than detoxing with a bunch of dudes just naked, hanging dong, just chopping it up. There's not much talking that goes on. Everyone's in their zone. Everyone's sweating. Everyone's really concentrated on letting it all out. Letting their pores open up and then open wide and letting it flow out. But there's an energy in there that I can't deny, and I connect. And afterwards, I stand up. I say, "This is a good sweat, dudes. I'll see you tomorrow."
I love that.
Put a bow on it.
Yeah. And then I take my towel off
Yes. Now we're talking.
for when I walk out.
Nice.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't
Show
want
him you're not afraid, but you don't have to be aggressive about it.
Yeah.
And he goes straight for his taco.
Oh,
Yeah,
of course.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. You got
Yeah.
that waiting in your locker.
Process.
I love that. Sitting there in your lovely, lovely reusable. What is it?
My
Tupperware.
My infinity use Tupperware.
Infinity. Yeah, correct.
Strider, who is your legend of the week?
Dude, my legend of the week is this bro Steven, dude, who's posting up in Vermont, dude. I took a risk, dude, and gave out my address on the internet, dude. Not a smart thing to do, dude. But guess what? Steven's a straight up legend, and thanks for not sharing it. And he pulled through and freaking sent me some dank IPAs from Vermont because I'm a fan of like microbrews and some craft stuff. And apparently, somebody shared online that we broke a federal law because you're not allowed to ship booze in the mail, I guess. But this guy packed it tight, dude. He put it like in a space blanket, some newspaper, some interesting articles in there, and a nice coupon even, dude. And was just so stoked to get those. So we were talking about it, DMing each other, and Steven, dude, I'm not giving out your last name, dude, in case the feds are listening, dude. In case this place is bugged, my dude. But thank you, dude. You're a straight up legend, dude, and I've been enjoying those. And I didn't hoard them. I shared some with the crew.
Nice, dude.
Yeah.
Nice.
Dude, my legend of the week is Tommy Caldwell from the Dawn Wall. I think Chad had him as his legend of the week one time.
Oh, always.
But I finally caught up to this documentary, and dude, I don't know if a cooler dude has ever lived than Tommy Caldwell. Like, he is the epitome of a beast. 16 years old, signs up as an amateur for a rock climbing competition that I think was to say he's the best rock climber in the country. He ends up winning the amateur competition. They let him compete against the pros. He wins that.
Yeah.
Becomes the best climber in the world, gets kidnapped by a terrorist in Kyrgyzstan with his girlfriend and two buddies, ends up throwing the terrorist off a cliff so him and his friends can survive, and is immediately conflicted about what he did. Not like takes any pleasure in it. Like, it was really hard for him, but he did what he had to do. They survive. He goes back to being the best climber in the world with his wife, who's a dynamite climber. Then he loses a finger doing some woodwork. Doctor tells him he'll never climb again. He makes the nub strong, goes back to climbing, is even better than when he started, loses his wife because she can't get over the trauma that they went through. He rebounds from that, throws himself into climbing Yosemite, does that with a friend who's not as good as him, could go up and reach the top of this impossible route without his buddy, decides at the almost very tippy top not to do that because it's not worth it without his buddy who's been with him the whole time, living on a wall for 2 weeks, 1,000 feet in the air, like in a small little tent, goes back down, encourages his friend so he can get past the hard part, and they go to the top together.
Wow.
It's an amazing story. Have you seen it?
No.
You got to see it. The Dawn Wall.
The Dawn Wall.
Oh, it's so good.
Wow.
It's the best.
Because you heard of Free Solo, right?
Yeah, I saw it.
I might have spoiled it there.
That's amazing. But this doc,
It might be better.
I think it might be better.
Because I think there's a more compelling
Are
protagonist.
you sure these people are humans?
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. I want to
no.
study their brains. I'm like,
Yeah.
give us your brains after you go, because I got to know what how you're made of this stuff.
He's cut from a different block.
He's in Free Solo because he's a buddy of Honnold's, and
Yeah.
they're obviously reverential peers
Wow.
towards one another.
I don't. They're not human.
It's
Can't
unbelievable. I know. You got to watch. This is a doc. You're gonna like it.
Okay.
As a filmmaker, I think you'll appreciate it even more.
I'd love to see it.
Dude, great legend of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tommy C is the best.
What is your
Oh yeah, I didn't tell you about this.
Quote
This
of
is
the
kind of a
week.
surprise.
My quote of the week.
Did I tell you about a quote? I don't think I
No,
did.
no,
Yeah, this is my
no.
bad.
That's
Allie,
okay.
my bad. But you've already had fire quotes on here.
Okay.
Yeah. Any quote, even from any of your movies, or maybe you're the David Byrne play, if there was something fire from that, or I don't know. Just
You're giving
anything.
me a lot of latitude there.
Yeah, I'm like, it can be anything. I feel bad. I feel like I feel bad because I sent an email to Bill. I'm like, just prepare these things. I forgot the quote.
That's okay.
It's my bad.
We can go, and then if you want time
want to circle back?
think about it.
Yeah, I think I would need that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Chad, what's yours?
Mine comes from Dwayne Johnson in his feature film debut, The Rundown, 2003.
Classic.
He's talking to Sean William Scott.
Legend.
I don't make deals with people like you. You don't even know me. You're just like every other jackass I've taken down. Oh yeah? You're going to get down on your knees, hands and knees, and you're going to beg me for a break. Yeah.
Whoa.
I could have delivered that better.
No way, dude.
Yeah.
No shot.
I don't make deals with people like you.
Oh, that was better.
You don't even know me. You're just like every other jackass I've taken down. Oh yeah? You're going to get down on your hands and knees, and you're going to beg me for a break.
Dude, that was really good.
That's good delivery. I like that.
Dude, that was really strong.
All right. Now
Nice.
we're moving in for your close-up. Let's reset.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, I just need to gain 100 pounds.
Nah, dude. You already got it, dude.
I'm
You got
fired.
100
I'm
He's a
fired.
chef in that
Hard,
movie, right?
dude.
The Rock?
Yeah, he has that's his soft side.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm a chef. And I was like, you should be beating people's asses. And he's like, fuck you.
The action scenes are pretty unique in that movie. Like
Yeah,
the way that they design him, like he can punch through pillars.
Yeah, oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Which is like, you're like, that's a strong choice.
Well-
but it's The Rock, so it looks like he can make some strong decisions.
Well, dude, the one scene that stuck with me is when they're going in water. Maybe you can relate to this going down to the jungle. She's like, don't pee in the water. And he's like, why? She's like, a parasite will crawl inside your pinto, and you'll have to chop it off. He's like, my pinto? And she's like, your ding dong. And that stuck with me because I surf, and every time I pee in the water, I'm like, is something going to crawl up my pinto?
Right.
You're right. You're Pinto.
So,
Well, I think mine would be along your same, now that you brought it up, make my day.
nice. That was great.
He's a beast.
And
dude.
everyone
Yeah.
misquotes that. He never says, do you punk? He like just calls him punk earlier in that.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's like when you watch Say Anything and he holds the boombox over his head. It's not as dramatic as you think it'd be because it's been built up so much.
Right.
Dirty Hair is a great movie. I watched that when we were in New York City. I watched that in the hotel room, and I was like, this is great.
Yeah.
Don't you just, that bad guy in there, his laugh, you just loved it. That guy, what a great actor that guy is.
Yeah. It was phenomenal. I think I just watched it also,
Yeah,
parts of it.
It's great.
Yeah.
Oh, Strider, what's your quote of the week?
Okay, my quote of the week, because we had Bill on, I rewatched a movie recently after viewing Lost City of the Monkey God, which was very dank. I watched Lost City of Z. With Charlie Hunnam. He plays Percy Fawcett, a real guy, British explorer, goes into Bolivia. And when he's there, and this is kind of a spoiler, so I'm sorry, and I'm going to paraphrase a little bit, you know, him and his son are being held captive by some natives. They never found the bodies. They don't know what happened. He just looks at his son, and he's like, we have lived lives that most men could never even imagine. We have to be so grateful for this moment. And we are here together, and I love you. And he goes, I love you, Dad. And then they fucking give him this weird juice and like carry them out in some like weird thing, and it's
In
like
some ritual murder.
some
right?
weird ritual murder. Well, they kind of justified earlier. The chief it's not like mean or anything, but like, you know, this is who knows how real this is or what based on whatever. But like, there's a cannibalistic tribe they visit earlier in that, and this tribe isn't really labeled as cannibals, but could be based on that. And then they're like, oh, they're finding a place for their souls, and that chief goes, we must. He goes, they're not the Christians who are persecuting us, like, because there's people in there like robbing things or something like that, and I think maybe they're a Christian or something. But he's like, they're not them, and they're not us, so we need to find a place for their souls. Unfortunately, according to the customs of that tribe, means they probably died in a ritual.
My quote of the week is from someone's senior yearbook, and it's, you can bail on work, but you can never bail on your bros.
Legend.
Fire, dude.
Yeah.
Fire, dude.
Chad, what's your phrase of the week for getting after it?
I forgot to tell you about this too. But you know what?
yeah.
Honestly, your license plate plays into
Do
it
you want us to
already.
come
So
back to
you've
you?
already.
No, I'm gonna let it
You wanna
come to me.
freewheel it?
I'm gonna.
This one we kind of always do spontaneously improvise.
Magic.
It's like
Dust. Butter. Canine.
Let's bark at authority.
Whoa.
Wait, did it help?
Canine guy. I was like,
Oh, that was
I
nice.
connected
dude.
to canine.
That was nice, dude.
I could do that for you if you want.
I have one,
Okay. Strider, what's yours?
but I'm open to it.
Let's hit the D floor. It's for the dance floor, dude.
Dude, my adorable GF had a hilarious one. She told me in Australia they call barbecues sausage sizzles.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So let's go sizzle. Let's go sausage sizzle.
I love it, dude. That's a
All
great
right.
phrase.
Well, you gave me an out. You know, I think I'll stick with Asima.
Yep.
Asima.
Oh, nice.
It's a fire phrase. Every
that's
second is a miracle.
Right.
I love it.
Bill. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Thank you
and
so
you went the
much.
long haul. This is one of the longer ones, but you have been such such incredible guest.
It's
Thank
been
you.
fabulous. I mean, I could keep going. You
Yeah,
guys
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you
I
so
love
much.
that.
we'll have to get together. I'll have to have you guys come to my house sometime.
Yeah,
Oh,
that'd
I
be
would,
great.
we would
Thank
really
you.
love that. That'd be
Yeah.
great.
That'd be awesome.
No, this is terrific.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, Bill Benenson, Lost City, the Monkey God. Is there any like where that's going to land or anything you want to say?
No,
about
we're
it,
working
or-
on getting distribution now.
Okay,
Cool.
Aaron.
Thank you, Aaron.
Aaron, you're a legend, dude.
Let's crack open this taco salad.
Oh, dude, fired up,
I knew you'd come with some heat at the end.
dude. And honestly, dude, I don't want to like pat myself on the back too much, but I kind of been facing adversity this whole podcast doing it with this dong cut that I recently got. I mean, look at this haircut, dude. It's just look like a dong, like an eraser.
Dude, but I like the dong look.
For real? Are you for real with that?
I'm for real, dude.
Thank you, dude.
Freaking mean it.
Great.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Thank you so
This
much,
has been
Bill.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Oh, thank you guys. Thank you guys for.
If you need advice,